I didn't realize that clip was still up there.
Surprise Twilight Part 6 stream.
Right. Welcome in, everyone. A surprise MMM where I am hosting. We don't know where Whitey is.
Whitey is restarting his computer, but yeah, this is such a surprise stream that our own people aren't even apparently aware of, including Cannoli, who was in the chat 6 minutes ago.
Yeah,
which
so,
is after the starting time.
Right. Oh yeah, he's got to tell us too. Haven't read the book in almost 20 years. Thank you for taking the time to type out that message.
Are you trying to finish it right now before you join?
Thank you everyone for being here for a special one-off episode. We figured since I think all of us have read the book, we all really enjoyed the movie, and then Jurassic World Rebirth is coming out on Wednesday. It's really soon.
I'm so glad that the dinosaurs finally accepted Christ.
Wouldn't that be resurrection then?
Well, after, but no, you have to be reborn and then resurrected. But rebirth comes first.
So maybe the Retardosaurus Rex in this movie is like a metaphor for Christ, almost.
Well,
and
definitely not. More, he definitely looks like someone who has been horrifically afflicted by sin. So someone's sin definitely afflicted him.
Dang. But I looked at. Okay, I don't know if you've seen like the full diagram of it. Hold on, let me pull this up so you have, because like I think we've all just seen the brief images from the trailers, right? Jurassic World Rebirth. Okay, there's a diagram that you can find online. It's oh gosh, where is this? Reddit.
Oh no,
Reddit's not helpful right now. Hold on.
That should be like their slogan.
Not helpful right now.
Reddit, not helpful right now.
All right, let me share this tab. Hold on, is it coming up? No, I got add to the stage. This is the dinosaur in full scope. It doesn't even have matching legs, for crying out loud.
It looks like an oversized embryo with birth defects.
This has been alive for like 40 years on its own on this island as well. Just surviving somehow.
Its front arm is bigger than its back legs. Well, one of them. And then the other one
it's got just a stumpy little something there. I don't even know if there's a fourth leg or not. Maybe the tail is supposed to be the fourth leg.
Which tail? There's like 3 of them.
Why are you bullying it? It can't. Bullying is good. Bullying is how you have survival happen.
It didn't make it 40 years without some of the other dinosaurs poking fun of it. Come on.
Right. Oh my god. Is this dinosaur related to the Jeremy Predator? Maybe.
I think the Jeremy Predator definitely rode this thing into battle.
Oh my goodness. This is, you know what? This is what they should be doing with the Predator IP. There you go. Here's the crossover we actually want.
They kind of seem like they are kind of on their way. If you remember that monster in the fighting pit for Killer of Killers, its head is basically upside down because its mouth is way over its eyes.
Good point. Hi, Whitey. So
I'm like, does that thing have to lay down to eat? Like, what the hell is in there?
Oh, everything went wrong.
Another Reddit slogan.
What?
All right, stop sharing that. Real quick, we have a 500 yen super chat. I don't know what the equivalent is in real dollars, but spare no expense.
Is that even a dollar?
I mean, I think this is 5 because it's the green one, so not the blue one, which is 2. So I think this is $5.
Yen is $3.48.
Oh,
okay. It's about $3.50.
$3.50. Thank you for the $3.50. Let me play a clip for you. What have we got in here? God, Sassy's clips are in here too. So this is oh gosh, let's see. Hey
boys, look what I got here. Hey, where are the white women at?
That's well, who is that streamer that just went and tried to colonize Japan recently?
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, he's a
wow.
Wow, welcome,
Holy
Mr. Hammond.
Bruh, it's been so long since we've done. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm clicking buttons and nothing's. I did have one clip that we had to play for since it's the end of Gay Month.
Yes,
we do have a clip from Jurassic Park that relates to trannies.
We do. I figure we can save that for later.
You want to save it for the film when the scene comes up? Is that what you're?
Maybe.
Okay.
We could do that as well. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
So real quick, let's just run through and say hello to the chat. Sassy's here. Hey, gays. Last day of the month, so gotta capitalize. Nadia, hello. Jurassic Park is a 10 out of 10, both in film and book. This is going to be an interesting conversation because there's a lot of hot takes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hot takes. Angry Canadian, welcome. Thank you again for that super chat. I will try my best to listen in. I need to edit some videos for work. I didn't even know you edited for a living. What the I learn new things about this dude almost every day, like how fucking petty he is.
Canadian thing.
That's like the modern Christian Bale thing. I have to go edit some videotapes.
We can literally all use that excuse too.
Goodwin, don't ask these questions, Goodwin. Just accept walking in space. It's okay.
You know what? Well, it's funny because I had an idea like 20 minutes before the stream, and I was like, "Oh, I wish I thought of this sooner," because I would have edited this days ago. Of like the T-Rex roaring with the Christopher Walken "wow" sound. Oh, that was
my goodness! Oh no!
Wow!
Save it for your video review. There you go.
Yes.
Wow. Waylon, hello. Jacob, also hello. I hope your move went well. I heard you have way better internet now. So congratulations!
All the dinosaurs could have different wows. All the dinosaurs could have different wows. That'd be great.
Whoa!
The Owen Wilson could be like the Raptors.
Wow.
Goodwin, good to see you. Barry Place as well.
What's up, Barry?
Thank you. How you doing? And Lovett's here as well. Hello, Lovett.
Beautiful Lovett.
Rio's here. Good evening. Good evening. Who else we got? Oh, True Pop is here. Hello. Oh my god, dude! It's like 3 a.m. for you, bruh.
Dude.
It does look like Space Troll seems generous, to be honest. Oh, so it was purposely designed or just a botched accident when making the voice?
Jesus Christ.
It's apparently an accident experiment, that mutant. So that's why it looks weird as it does.
Weird as
See what is in here. All right. Do you want me to like take over, Greg, or Cannoli? Whoops, we're not.
What the fuck? Now you give away my secret identity. What the hell? If you, I could scrub since I'm here. It's fine. Oh.
It's up to you. I have the movie ready to go. If you want to chill.
So which one?
Oh, okay. All right. You go ahead then, my friend. You go ahead if you want.
Yes. Let's do it. Okay.
Oh, I was going to use Prime as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He does it. You're doing it wrong.
What's wrong with you, Canadian? So this is. I'm not used to this chat bullshit. What's showing on the screen? This is weird to me.
I actually don't even know. Oh, hold on.
It's a street. I don't care if you left it on. I know a lot of people leave it on. It's
no. Treat it like a woman. You don't want to see what it says.
Get out of here. Shut up and do your job. Make me a sandwich.
What makes you think I want to hear you talk?
Bitch. No, anyway. Okay, so yeah, this is Jurassic Park. This is the beginning. Okay, now I know. Okay, you guys recently, or at least Vex more recently, read this book. I have not.
Yeah, I haven't read this book in.
I haven't read it in 20
decades.
years. Yeah, so like I don't remember everything about the book. So I know the beginning. There were a lot of differences, but how do we feel about the intro of this movie with the opening of the dinosaur?
Pretty dang fun, pretty solid. Good way to establish the danger. There are some logistical errors and questions that it raises.
Clever girl.
But strong overall.
Right.
Yeah, I actually I don't mind this either, because the thing about the novel is, first of all, one of the best books I've ever written or read. Sorry, I didn't write it. Oh my god!
Wow, well, Vex.
You read Rocky? Sorry,
Vex Loki goes for it.
You when you wrote this book. Holy shit! I was 7 when I wrote this. I'm a genius.
But like, it's the book that it introduces a lot more that Spielberg cut out for the sake of making a film work better. I think the film, in that regard, you have to do your best to judge these two separately. Mm-hmm. I think this is an intro. I think it establishes everything you need to find. You know that the dinosaurs pose some kind of threat. You know that things are going to get a little bit messy. You see Muldoon pretty early on. I just kind of hate that he's reduced to just like one-liners in this film. He really doesn't have much other purpose than that. When in the novel, he was quite monumental in not only trying to manage the dinosaur threat, but also like actually saving people. So in the novel, when Ian Malcolm gets injured, it's him and Gennaro, the lawyer, who go out and rescue him. Right. And he's a little more actionable when things start to go haywire as well. So I don't mind the performance of the actor, but it's for what it is. It works as an intro.
Yeah, he's kind of highly reminiscent of Quint from Jaws, except without kind of the eventual semi-main character status that Quint ultimately gets. I tend to agree he's probably the most underutilized piece they have in this movie, because I like Muldoon a lot. I don't mind that he has few words, because he does still have a good enough amount of actions to know that, okay, this is somebody that is dependable. He has an understanding of these animals. He's a capable hunter, that kind of thing. But obviously later in the movie when he gets killed, I'm like, I feel like a lot of like people's like, oh crap, Muldoon died, comes from a little bit of headcanoning, just how cool he is. It's like, man, I would have really liked to have known a bit more about him, because
a little more flush.
I like capable characters, and he's arguably the most capable person to deal with this outside of maybe Grant.
True, very good point.
I mean, so for the movie, I think he mostly works.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, Gord.
White Bear?
Well,
oh god, here we go.
I kind of hate that we miss everything, everyone. But yeah, I mean, this for the movie though, I thought that this was fantastic, because the first thing you get is some action that draws you in, and like, oh, something terrible just happened. And it's giving you all those little candies, going around eating those.
Not candy.
That's
corn.
scary. Ooh, that's scary. Get that away. But
I
think that they miss they miss some opportunities to build up what all this is going to lead to, and
shows you the danger.
Like this is just showing like what is the danger of the park, what it could potentially go bad as far as like with the people there and working on it, not necessarily the whole problem of the park. Right. What we're trying to avoid by the end of it.
This is my favorite character, because God knows my panel knows I love lawyers.
Well, I think it's the character with your favorite fate in the movie.
Yeah,
I think you should probably like have this as like his death as your screensaver at work when you're working.
Just play the scene over when I'm stressed out at work.
Just when somebody's annoying you on the phone, you just look over and you see it getting ripped back and forth.
Is it wrong during the rewatch that I stood up and clapped when the dinosaur ate him? You tell me.
No,
it's not wrong until the pants go down. That's when it starts to get.
Then I'm in real trouble, because Yeah, more than pants were coming down. I'll tell you that much.
Oh my gosh.
I do want to add I'm a little upset with what they do to this character because he's a wimp. He's a pencil pusher. He's really just there to introduce a little bit of tension, like to be almost like the real world perspective onto how this park operates and everything. But in the novel, he's actually a very almost stoic, very suave guy. He's very well dressed. He's a bit younger, like he's in his mid 30s. He actually ends up being quite an interesting and pivotal character for the rest of the story. Like it's again, there's so much going on in the novel that I get why Spielberg made some of the decisions he did.
Well, it's not even just Spielberg. Crichton helped to write the draft.
He wrote
for the
screenplay, right? Yeah.
And he was paid about $500,000. He didn't write like the final draft. That was David Kep.
Oh, wow.
Crichton helped do a good amount of the treatment to this movie, and he knew going in, it's like we've got to cut a lot of this stuff out. Like a lot of these decisions came down to him, and like I almost kind of suspect that Gennaro is supposed to semi-represent sort of Hammond's mindset from the book, this kind of more like profit, this need to profit off of this stuff, that kind of mindset where he's just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna make so much
mentality.
Yeah, and like because personally, one of my favorite changes from the book to the movie, as far as at least how it, like I think it works for the novel, but part of what I think translates better for the movie is Hammond's portrayal, him being kind of this idealistic, almost Walt Disney-like figure, because aside from the fact that I think that makes a lot more sense for somebody who would venture out and do something this insane. Like I feel like you kind of almost have to be a bit idealistic to want to do something like bring dinosaurs back to life. But I also think it adds, part of what's really interesting about this movie is that what goes wrong in this movie came from very good intentions, you could argue. It's like Hammond's intentions are very admirable in a lot of ways, and it's like, yeah, this sounds really neat, but then you're like, oh well, this not so bad guy did this thing and now everything's gone wrong. And it's like it adds an interesting kind of sympathetic angle to how all this came about.
You gotta explain this Hammond's not a terrible guy angle. I'm a little lost here.
Well, why is he a terrible guy?
I mean, he tries to bring animals back from the dead, and in an excursion that's meant to prove worth to his investors, he decides to bring his grandchildren in because la-di-da, and that's about it. And he ends up basically killing a whole bunch of people because he also didn't listen to some of the recommendations of his...
Well, that's letting the result determine the intention. I don't think his intention was to let people die. I don't think his intention was all about profit. I mean, we hear throughout the movie, he's like, hey, this isn't just meant to cater for
rich people,
the super rich. He's got a bit of hubris to him, like Goodwin's bringing up there. But he's imaginative. He wants people to see this amazing, wondrous thing that he and his scientists have accomplished. He wants people to be entertained. He wants to bring people something that will give them a form of awe. It's just, he really didn't consider all the angles and how this is not something that's so easily controlled.
I did have a hard time with kind of before his ending in the book, which is at one point, he goes from being a character saying like, I hate that I won't be around, talking to, I think, Wu. I don't, I hate it. I hate it so bad. And he's like, oh, that all this bad stuff happened. He's like, no, that I won't be around, to live long enough to see all the children's faces whenever the place opens because I'm so old. But then after that, near the end, he goes, I should have never brought those stupid kids to this park. They weren't even supposed to be here in the first place. I only did it because their parents were, and I was like, oh, so you didn't give a fuck in the first place, did you?
I almost think the book portrayal of Hammond, that's the thing. I don't particularly like the Hammond book portrayal that much. I don't think that particular character works as the creator of this park. I think he almost more works as like the second to the guy who would have created this kind of park. Because like I said, I feel like if you're gonna venture out to do something like this, you're not just doing it for money. You're doing it because you have vision. You're somebody. It's like even if you think that vision is kind of crazy and could lead to some really bad things, it's like the person who's having it is thinking about all the good stuff. It's easy to see why something, if you realize that this is possible, how you could just get intoxicated by it. Like, oh my gosh, we could bring dinosaurs back to life. And I can put them in a park and I can show people and I can see these odd look on these young people's faces and all that. It's easy to see how someone could get intoxicated with an idea like that. Like I brought dinosaurs back to life.
did this, yeah.
And Goodwin has a good point because he really is bad apparently at character writing because he goes so back and forth and you can't blame it on the old man's like, mind slipping exactly because, he does have moments where you think maybe he is having, a little bit of Alzheimer's or, those fits of rage or something like that that's causing this. But no, like he keeps on going so back and forth because he just said half of the same exact words that Gord said, but in the book, about how, this was all about making something bigger, like this is something great. And it wasn't about the money, but then,
right.
It's so many mixed bag there. So it's hard to really get a grasp of exactly what they wanted you to feel about Hammond, other than I didn't feel good about him. I didn't feel good about him book-wise.
No.
Yeah, book-wise, they're like, this guy's a piece of garbage.
He's just a very old, rich piece of
rich
shit,
dude. Yep.
I don't understand,
Yep.
Plus, once you cast Richard Attenborough, it's hard to hate him. You're like, I don't want to hate Richard Attenborough. He's such a nice guy.
Lovely little Scottish man.
I actually like Richard Hammond, like book Hammond, better than movie Hammond. Is that?
Oh.
Am I evil for that? Like,
yes.
Probably.
No, I'm just kidding.
You and him can eat your ginger fucking ice cream together and die. No. Tell me why you're hurting as a child.
I think it's because I just like because one of the great things about the novel is that you have just kind of like this one central thing of this dinosaur theme park opening. And basically all of the characters are just kind of different angles that you could view and handle this situation as it starts to go wrong. So I like that, like Hammond still has some of that like kind of naive idealism to him, but he has far more of like there's like a seed of corporate greed in there, right? Like he really wants this to pan out because there's a personal benefit. Like Gord said, it's like, I brought these dinosaurs about, I want to be responsible for bringing this into the world, for this to be my legacy sort of deal. So, and it's just kind of like the full circle he kind of goes through. I find that more interesting because there are other characters that do the work of being the moral good in that situation. It's just, Hammond is charming in here. I actually, like, it's for the way the film pans out, it works that he is the way he is. I just much prefer evil Hammond. I think that's a far more interesting character.
I guess for me, it's like, I guess part of what's interesting about this movie is that like even Gennaro in this movie, while he dies as a result of cowardice, you don't necessarily hate him. You just kind of think, he's a bit Weasley. It's like, he's kind of it's like, you don't particularly like him, but you're like, he doesn't get what he deserves. It's like what happens to him. You're like, that sucks. That's pretty awful what happened to him. Like really the only like genuinely like bad character in this movie is probably Nedry. Granted, they give Nedry some motivations that a lot of people who've worked for a long time probably can at least understand, but at the same time you're like, yeah, that was pretty crappy of him. He kind of knew he was putting everybody in danger with what he did. But I kind of like that the majority of these characters aren't evil people. It's because it adds a level of drama to the peril going on. It's like, I mean, if you hate part of what doesn't work about a lot of like monster movies and horror movies is that the worst characters, you pretty much know what's coming for them. So there's really no drama behind what they do, and there's almost like, and granted, there's plenty of movies where it can be satisfying to watch a certain character get what's coming to them, but in a movie like this, I kind of like the fact that you don't want that to happen to really anybody except maybe Nedry. But even Nedry's fate is kind of like, that's pretty rough, dude. But but pretty much everybody who dies in this is like, there's a lamentable aspect to it. And I'm like,
agreed.
I think that's pretty cool.
What do you think about the whole science behind bringing the dinosaurs back and the mosquito? I mean, we all know it's bullshit, but it's fun for a movie to think about mosquitoes getting stuck in tree sap and then.
I mean, it's not conceptually BS. I mean, it's just. I mean, the method is, but it's like we're starting to see a little bit of this start to come through a bit.
What about the really white version of a cast here?
Then you get to meet, so you get to the whole backstory about how they found these things in the mines. With the lawyer goes to check on everything, and then we get to meet our two I guess you could say main leads. Grant and what's her name? Laura Dern's character.
Ellie Sattler.
Ellie Sattler. A pretty good introduction, I think. The differences between this and the book, I have no freaking idea. So you would have to tell me.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They weren't necessarily romantic in the book.
No, they weren't at all romantic. It was just a mentor-mentee relationship. Grant is actually quite a bit older than her, right. Instead of being on more equal. But I'm actually not a fan of the romantic twist, regardless of the fact that they didn't do it in the book. It's just like an added layer that doesn't really need to be there. Like, I really hate that they explore it in Jurassic Park 3, and then when they bring them all back for Dominion, it's a pointless arc, because this film, I think, does a really good job of establishing that the reason their relationship works the way it does so well is that they share the same amount of passion for dinosaurs, essentially, right? Like, Alan Grant in many regards has found his I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Not his intellectual match, but like someone who matches his energy, and it doesn't need to be romantic in that sense. And everything that she does as a botanist, thank you, is like it's a support arc for his work as a full-on paleontologist. So they're like yin and yang that complement each other. You don't need to cross that relationship more than it needs to.
Yeah, because they share the same enthusiasm, right? So
yeah,
I think what's funny is casting wise, they kind of did get the ages right, but as far as, because Sam Neill's 20 years older than Laura Dern. He doesn't necessarily look it, but he's born in 1947. She was 1967. She was only in her 20s back when this came out.
Shit.
She was like 26 when this came
out. She looked old.
Yeah, she don't look 26 in this. She looks closer like late 30s maybe. But for the most part, I kind of agree. They don't do enough with the romantic angle between this. The one place where I'll defend it is Grant's arc part of his arc in this is the fact that he kind of, warms up to the kids and everything, which I like that they do that in this movie. I think because he spends so much time with them, he becomes protective of them. I think that's a good arc to give him. And I think their being romantic, helps to add a layer to that, because, them talking about the idea of having kids together and everything. But the problem, I guess, is that they don't really develop their relationship all that much, because they spend a good portion of the movie apart and really only have like one actual genuine embrace throughout the entire movie. And the other kind of odd thing about it is the fact that Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern were actually dating during this movie. Yeah. So, and they actually have better chemistry.
They do.
They actually have better chemistry, funny enough.
Chaos theory.
That's the weird part, is though, even though they're supposedly like Alan and Ellie are together, Alan's totally fine with fucking Jeff Goldblum just hitting on her.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire movie, and then subtly flirting.
Oh, she's
like all the way up until he asked directly if she's available, and he's like, "Why?" And it's like, I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe he's just not that threatened. And I'm like, okay, but yeah, it's like he doesn't say a word when he's very heavily.
And I was gonna say she's just as fucking humid in certain areas.
Dr. Sadler suffers from daddy issues.
That's very
She's going to always pick me over you, dude. You and your freaking turtleneck weird glasses having fly man. Yeah, fly man. That's what you are, as a fucking fly. Okay, so Grant right here. He had a beard in the book, which, this is a movie. Your main character has to, they need to show his face. They can't make him that Chadly. But he's a super Chad in the book, I gotta say. And for them to absolutely make this into a 1990s Everybody Loves Ray sitcom of a movie here is such utter bullshit that, he's an undeveloped man. He doesn't know how, he can't deal with kids. Okay, in the book, it quickly says, he loves kids and he loves when they're excited about dinosaurs. He gets along with everybody just fine. And then she is the perfect character. She has nothing wrong with her. In fact, she's almost superhuman in her abilities in this movie. There's nothing wrong with it. There is no development. It has nothing to. I don't know.
I would agree. That's kind of a big problem with her character. Her character really does not have an arc in this entire movie.
No, not at all.
No, she's perfect as she is.
Just to mention that.
Well, she's not. I wouldn't say she's perfect because I mean she doesn't stand a chance against raptors. She doesn't do squat against them, but so she's not like physically more capable than anything. It's just, but in every other aspect of life, she's pretty rock solid.
Yeah. Because she can point out sexism in the workplace. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, and then so this is where the Hammond comes in and basically he's like, "Yeah, I want to show you this place." And they're like,
I actually like this scene. Like this particular scene is kind of what makes their lack of relationship development sort of lamentable because they have some fun little banter here.
Yeah.
I like the line where he's talking about how it's like, kids, will drive kids out of their minds, and he's like, "What are those?" And he's of course referring to the attractions, but she's like small version of adults. Honey, it's like there's some cute little banter between them, and you're like, okay, this could work as a relationship, but then don't really do a ton with it after that.
Yeah, once they get to the island, it's like, fuck you guys, it's all about the dinosaurs now and the kids. It's like,
so there's minor differences with this scene between the movie and the novel. So this more or less plays out exactly as a novel. But prior to this, there's actually a call and even a visit from Gennaro, the lawyer, and he actually brings like a bunch of papers over to Grant regarding this, right? And it's a dive into what they're kind of doing scientifically, the big idea, and it's only when when Hammond comes to visit and tries to get both of them to come away for the weekend to see the park that then they kind of there's more of an ethical dilemma to this than them being excited about getting the grant funding. Like Alan actually feels like a little bit like he feels a little uncertain in taking the grant money just to go away for the weekend, even though he knows it would be good for his entire operation, right? So there's a little bit more pushback, I would say there. We get a little more mystery teased because we get the ins and outs too of just the scientific part of the whole operation, right?
Well,
go ahead.
Sorry.
Well, and also the visit from a government agency member who's like, "Oh, by the way, dude's doing some creepy, weird shit, and how much has he paid you?" And we kind of missed that. And the time that goes in between their visits and finally the Hammond phone call and meeting up and all that. But
it's all stuff that you can just kind of cut out for the sake of a movie working better. This scene is also more or less cut like straight from the novel between Nedry and Dodge.
Like Grant taking the grant, Grant taking grant money. I was like, I feel like I think that's just way more easy to relate to. It's like when you hear it's like, I'll fund your dig for 3 more years. It's like everyone in the audience is gonna be like, heck yeah, man! Just to go away for a weekend? That sounds awesome. Who's not gonna do that? So I think that definitely translates for the audience a little better during a movie.
So Newman's on vacation here. No, I'm just kidding.
Hello, Newman.
Hello, Newman. He was actually good in this movie. I mean, at this point,
he's Wayne Knight's a good actor.
He's good. He played this well. And like this fucking this guy comes in all suspicious.
I can't believe they turned this guy into the villain of one of the Jurassic Park movies.
Oh my god,
he's such a nothing character. He's a middleman, and they're like, let's bring him back. He's like the worst member berry of this entire franchise, and it's like, brought Dodson back to be the bad guy of what is it? Dominion is the one.
Dominion,
Jeez. Dude, you got to be.
And he wasn't even a good villain in Dominion, to be honest. Like, he's really just a member berry bring back.
They did not do that. You fucking. I didn't see Dominion.
Supposed to die in the next book.
Dominion is one of the worst big budget movies ever made.
They were talking about
awful. Yeah, it's true.
And B-Sub, right?
It's really bad.
Yep.
We touched on it. Some apparently, just like on a side note, apparently some reviews are saying that Jurassic World Rebirth is worse than Dominion, which seems impossible.
I have a hard time believing that.
That seems impossible because like Dominion is like lower than bottom of the barrel filmmaking.
Oof, that's bad.
Yeah. Like
you to take a
it's
look
not
here.
Quite Multiverse of Madness bad, but it's just that slight like half point tear up.
Yeah, like barely.
I was just saying, just take a look here and look at Nedry's face. Look at his nose. Look at his chin.
It all makes sense.
A dinosaur. okay, but I'm just saying, like,
some stereotypes are there for a reason. Why? You know what I'm saying?
They do so much condensing and compression in this movie
Oh yeah,
but they really nailed it. I feel like with Nedry, they did so well because like I was telling you, he was referred to as like 6 names: Fatty, Fat Boy, Mr. Goodbite, Fat Slob, and just Slob and Fat.
Is this device that he uses to get the embryos? Is that the same thing in the book too? Like, was
that's in the book? Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make
sure that should be like if they ever do like a let's see, this is what I guess there wouldn't be another like kind of like major anniversary just so like what 3 years from now, but I'm like if you're still doing the popcorn bucket thing, get like a giant Barbasol can and you open it and it's a popcorn bucket. That'd be awesome.
Or you can just do the drink, the novelty drink cans would work better, right? Yeah, because then you can get it's the same anatomically correct. It is a good can.
I want that can. It can just be, it can literally just be Barbasol shaving cream. I don't like Barbasol shaving cream. It's like the worst shaving cream in the world. But if I get this can, I will be very happy.
The secret can.
You know what's crazy is like it's one of those things like, oh, what the world was like before 9/11. You could take a can of shaving cream on a fucking plane.
Yeah.
You know what, White Bear, you were talking about his nose and chin and possible ethnic just seeing here just really capitalizes on that when he tells the other guy to pay. Don't get cheap on me here.
Well, he says like, don't go cheap on me. That was Hammond's mistake, and Hammond was already paying him a hefty amount of money. We learned in the book. It just wasn't enough for him.
By the way, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that they were also doing change orders on him, and they never did. They thankfully in the book they never say who's right and who's wrong here. But they apparently come on adding on parts to the work that he didn't think he was supposed to be to do per the contract and all that.
Right.
But he is supposed to be a much more based job person, who has a good feel, a good feel of his own work. He's done a lot of work, so he's supposed to be worth it, anyways. But they didn't make a big deal about it.
But I do like Hammond. I do like Hammond's line to him later in the movie about what did he say? Like, I don't blame people for their mistakes, but I do expect them to pay for. It's a good line.
Yeah.
I love
my park.
One of the one of the funniest logistical aspects of the Lost World, which is ridiculous, is the way they travel between Isla Sorna and San Diego. Because to my understanding, that island is supposed to also be close to Costa Rica. I'm pretty sure. It's like I know this one is. That's like by plane. That's an 8.5 hour flight. And it's like there is nowhere near that much time elapsed in the movie. What's like not even close.
So like the way that they explain it in the novel is that they fly across and then they take a plane from somewhere on the coast to Costa Rica, right? I can actually forgive this continuity thing because I figure it's just one of those things. Oh, we cut it so that we can get the movie going. It's worse, and I would say the Lost World.
That's what I'm talking about. It's fine in this movie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's not a problem, I think, in this movie at all. Because they don't really even, like, the time between one destination to the other isn't really addressed all that much. In the Lost World, it is a couple of times, and it's like, how long was this trip? Because I don't think that works.
5 hours, apparently.
Is
5 hours.
By helicopter.
Is there such a job as a chaotician? Is that a real thing?
I think it's more
he's a mathematician.
He's a mathematician.
Yeah.
He calls him. Yeah, and I think chaotician is probably what he thinks of himself as.
Well, no, it's just there's that, and he also specializes mainly in chaos theory. I actually think Ian Malcolm is one of the best things that they adapt from the novel. Like, there's some dialogue that they take straight from the novel for him. His demeanor, his actions, even his style is actually pretty spot on. The only difference is that they give him hair. Like, they make him a bit of a sex icon in this movie, where he's a bit more of a. He looks balding. Like a nerd in the novel, and he's balding. Book. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
In the book,
But just to be clear, chaotician is not formally recognized as a scientific title of field of study. That's why I was like this. It's kind of more like the interest he has, so he likes to call himself that. That was the impression I got.
Yeah,
I think this is
the end of the. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Whitey. My bad. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, by the end of the damn book, By the time that you've heard chaos theory that many times, you will think that it is a real position. Oh, he's a chaotician.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
One of the best lines from Jurassic Park 3 is when Grant meets the kid, and they're talking, and he's talking about. He goes, I read the book you read. I like the first one better. You liked dinosaurs then, and he's like, did you read Malcolm's book? He's like, yeah. He's like, what'd you think of it? He's like, he goes, I don't know. The guy it was kind of preachy. Everything's chaos and everything. That always made me chuckle because of the book and the movie.
Right. And by the way, I think this is where I texted you guys where I was like, wow, this score was John Williams' score. Pretty damn good.
It's pretty excellent. It's become one of the most iconic musical scores of all time. And it wasn't even the one John Williams won an Oscar for that year.
Yeah. No,
you were saying like you got some type of HD upgrade or something about the
they did like a free upgrade to Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, so that when I didn't realize it, and then the sound system automatically kicked into Atmos, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad because I gotta play this loud as I can. Yeah, they weren't too happy with me in the house. The shit was like, the pictures were rumbling off the wall, and like, does it have to be that loud? Yes, it does.
Yes.
Throughout for this kind of movie, it's Atmos is a must-have.
By the way, just because we haven't done this really yet, and I know this is a bit of an informal show, but what was everyone's first experience with this movie?
I did see it in the movies. This was what, 90?
Old ass.
93.
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school. Shut up, Bex. I was a freshman in high school. So yes, I did. We went to go see this as a family. I remember it was a great experience, amazing movie theater experience. Like if this came back out, it'd be worth going to see in a Dolby Vision or like an IMAX. Yeah. Just to see the dinosaurs that in a big screen with the surround sound, it's fucking incredible. So yeah, we went to see it as a family right when it came out, and it was a great childhood memory.
What about you, Whitey?
I got to go to the theater, but I'll be straight up honest. I like different parts of this. I was like freaking out. I was like, "That's a big ass dinosaur."
Poor little white bear.
So like at the theater, like they were selling these exclusive like 6-inch giant candy eggs, that are like those everlasting gobstopper eggs, basically. So still got one of those in the package. It's a little deal, but I had one of those, and then we broke one of them out in the parking lot and ate it. And we ended up, I think, having to leave early. So we end up getting this on VHS, of course, like a whole year and a half later. It probably came out on VHS.
You remember how expensive these fucking movies used to be on VHS too?
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of came out when they were. Yeah. Well, this movie was in the theaters well over a year.
Long time.
Yeah. I mean, because my first experience was I did see this in theaters. This was the first movie I ever saw multiple times in a theater. I think I was about 10 when this came out. But we saw this on my brother's birthday, which his birthday's in August, which if this gives you an indication of how different movies were back then, this movie had already been out 2 months.
Yep.
So, I mean, but there was nothing in our minds ever. It's like, oh, we got to rush to see this in the theater. What if it leaves? It's like, that's only been 2 months. It'll be in theaters for a while.
Like now it's what, 45 days, maybe 3 months.
If that, I mean, but I mean, yeah, we saw this in theaters, and I remember like being on a field trip the following year in October, which was a full 16 months after this release, and this was still at the dollar theaters.
Yep.
So, and I think probably about the end of that year, we finally got this on VHS.
Yep. Yeah.
How about you, Bex?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was not even 2 years old when this came out, so did not see it in theater.
Excuse me.
She was just out of the
I did. Right. If I did, then I don't have any memory of it. But we used to have these this network called the Movie Network up here. So whenever a movie was getting like the VHS release or whatever, DVD release, they would usually have the movie within a month of that release on their service, and then you could just like watch it on their channel, sort of deal.
Interesting.
So I know that this movie was on there a lot. It was really nice when you missed a movie in theater and all, because you just knew, oh, a year from now it'll be on this channel. It's fine. But I do remember like this was always on TV in some way or another when I was a kid. So I watched this a lot as a kid. I loved like biology and all that stuff and animals growing up. So I had a ton of like animal biology books and dinosaur books and everything. I was really big into dinosaurs
you must have
as a kid.
Yeah.
I was the kid that bought like those animal encyclopedias, and because I loved the encyclopedias so much, I would put my name and address inside in case someone ever took the book. Like I wanted to make sure that no one ever took these
Scholastic books never stood a chance.
Taking this book is a violation of my biology.
Poor
right
innocent scientific Vex, and now look what we have. Oh my God.
So I really liked this movie. I really, for real.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah, I really liked this movie because I liked dinosaurs a lot, and there's a lot of magic, and the score was always iconic. Like when we play with fucking like Pokemon outside or whatever, we'd like, you know, like do it with a little bigger.
Oh, God.
It's a Pokemon. It's a Pokemon.
I was just like, I take the little Pokemon dolls like out in the garden, and I'd just be like playing in the soil with them, right? And it's just like,
would you dig them up with your mom's makeup brush or anything?
I did with my paintbrushes actually.
Oh my
that was so cool.
Oh, yeah, this scene, like seeing this the first time in a movie theater. By the way,
gosh,
like,
and I'll tell you one thing this movie is exceptional at is the pacing is pitch perfect. Like it's so funny. It did not strike me literally, and I've been watching this movie, you know, for the full 30 years since it came out. I watch this movie all the time. I don't even know how many times I've seen it, but there were scenes that I used to mentally associate with like the early part of this movie, and then I looked at the timestamp watching this past weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's only 35 minutes left, and this is where we are. Which, by the way, the last 40 minutes of this movie are it's among the best third acts of any film ever made. There's so much cool stuff happening, but one thing that I think Steven Spielberg, what kind of sets his monster movies apart, is he's really good at holding back on the reveals, because like one of the things they had to change from the book obviously is the sheer amount of dinosaurs. Him and Michael Crichton kind of knew going in. It's like we have to reduce the number of dinosaurs because we're not going to have the money to do all of these effects. And he very much wanted this to be like the best looking and most realistic looking monster movie.
Like, for 1993.
Oh my gosh, this was unbelievable.
It's like, yes, you could see some of it as age, but it's people in the comments are saying it's still.
It hasn't aged badly. I mean, like there's things today which you probably do to like you'd probably. If you're doing this today, you would maybe blend the CGI a little bit differently to make it flow better. But
still,
like,
it's no Velocipaster.
But yeah, you want to go for that. Yeah,
this is what it looks like when I'm eating with my family. just in case you
eat your greens.
Cannoli,
almost dogs you again.
It's okay. Vex already gave my secret identity. It's all right. Yeah, and then Malcolm's like, oh, that crazy. Some really good one-liners in this.
Oh yeah, but I even this where he's, they're like, you know, how fast are they? He's like, we clocked the T-Rex at 32 miles an hour, and it's like, oh, they've got a T-Rex, and it's like, oh, that's, you know, foreshadowing that's gonna come later. Yep. But they do a really good job holding all this stuff back until the right moment and not overexposing them, because that, like, part of the worst thing about the sequels is now the dinosaurs are so overexposed that there's no, like, if you were a 90s kid, dinosaurs were the thing. I mean, dinosaurs, if you were a kid, were just the coolest thing in the world.
Hell yeah.
And then when you saw them brought to the big screen and this wonderfully, like this well, it was awe-inspiring.
And I love Grant's reaction, because this has like been his whole life, right?
Yeah.
And he gets this, and he can't take it. He just collapses to the ground. He's like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Just like this is Vex and seeing Henry Cavill face to face in person.
You said you've got a Cavill?
I don't think you understand. Like, if you were a fucking child with this movie, by the way, there were so many things that you would start copying, doing while you were playing. Like, I would literally get my dolls to like eat leaves off of the plants, kind of deal, like the Brontosaurus. Like it's.
Now you smoke leaves.
But yes, this is how I would also look at
Yeah, this movie would periodically make salad cool.
Right. It really would.
Because of this movie.
There's another good shot here. Now, this is one of those long shots in the movie that you're like, okay. You can see it's a little dated. Just the background. But it still looks good.
Still looks pretty dang good.
Looks pretty good. And like, yeah, he's almost in tears talking about how they move in her. Like everything he was like, he even says a line before this, right? Like throw everything we know out about certain things we've learned. Like nothing, because he's seeing these things in person for the first time. It's crazy.
He's absolutely wrong.
Yes.
He's absolutely wrong right there, because we come to find out like, yeah, we did it. We had to do a lot of patchwork on this, and we used some frogs and maybe a hippo and a turtle.
Oh yeah.
It's like y'all don't know that there's this island over there that we got Retardosaurus over there.
There's a retarded giraffe right around the corner. He was ready to forget.
Yeah,
they got this so so well looking, making it look like it's all still under construction. It's not open, and it really it's in the background. They don't make a big deal about it. They don't say, "Hey, look, he's doing drywall here," but let's keep on going.
By the way, real quick, there's and this isn't in the trivia, but I'm aware of this park, so I remember a making of documentary. So they're going up those stairs, and Ellie's asking, so what are you thinking? He's like, we're out of the job. And Morgan says, don't you mean extinct? That actually came from a conversation between two of the special effects guys, where one of them like saw I don't remember exactly what the problem was, but he came to I guess his special effects supervisor, and he goes, I think we're extinct. And then he brought to him the problem. And Spielberg, I guess, I don't know if he was there or if he caught wind of this little exchange, but he was like, I like that. I'm going to add that line to the movie in some capacity. It's like, that's where he put it. Yeah.
To go deeper on that story, this is one of the last movies that a long-time Hollywood practical effects, lead worked on, because he did his work on a lot of the practical effects and all that, but then the two people working on, who were working underneath him, started working with Apple computers, and they made the program. They worked with programs until they made those little tiny dinosaurs and introduced them to it. And they're like, oh, let's just throw out all these models. Let's throw them out because this is going to save a lot of time.
Right.
And I do like this, like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, this was kind of the end of an era and we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And now look what we have.
Yeah.
I do like that kind of Simpson style animation that got going in this little
this was good.
thing.
This was good. It's a good way to show the science and not over explain it, make it very easy for everyday people to understand.
Yeah, I will say this is one of the strengths from adapting, is like, because it's not just in one instance you learn how the dinosaurs were made in the novel. It's literally over the first 2/3 of the novel that you learn it. So for the sake of having the dinosaurs stay the focus and to get all those interesting action sequences in, I actually do appreciate how this was condensed down, and also just to the very, very essential stuff that an average audience member might have questions about. So I'm totally down with this. I like that they also keep using him like he's an Easter egg in Jurassic World in the background, the Dr. DNA or whatever. I'm glad
he went back to school.
Dino DNA.
It's a strong exposition dump, and it doesn't feel like a dump, which is great.
Yeah. And it has a little bit of setup and payoff to it, because you have the whole bit about the frogs and stuff like that. This is how you do exposition right. It's you incorporate it into the film in a way that feels natural, because it's like, these people will be like, what's the question he has? It's like, how'd you do this? And it's like, that's actually a good question. That's something that everyone would ask if they were seeing this. And then you get that little cool little ride they've got going there.
Perfect timing.
So, like, Ed Regis and little bits of Dr. Harding and, let's see, a part of Bob Morris are all mixed into Gennaro in this movie. And I didn't think the condensation was all that good. I didn't really care for that, but that scene right there was great. They rocked it, and the kids were supposed to be in here too, and that would have wasted a shit ton of time. Having to go through all their amazement and the whininess of the girl who's not whining in this movie at all.
I actually think it's a good creative choice to keep them out of this, because I think that part of what works with the kids is getting to see them like be afraid and then kind of get disarmed. It's like I think disarming them initially probably would have been a mistake.
Well, what they did is, they just had one, tiny cute thing, jump on the boy and play around and all that, and that was fine. And but yeah, on the car ride later we'll talk about it. That you're right. It was probably for the best that they didn't really get their biggest introduction to anything until way later on, and then it's terrible.
They used obviously this was animatronics or whatever I was reading, but looked pretty good. I mean, for 90, it looked pretty good. The whole birth of the egg thing was kind of cool.
Especially, I love this scene because it's like it's got so many layers to it. It's kind of got like the the miracle of life. It's got obviously the fact that it's a dinosaur, but then you get into the more ominous aspects where Malcolm's asking questions about like birthing them in the wild, and they're like, I don't know, they can't do that, and he's like, whoa, you all, there's some hubris here. Like that's the first warning sign. And then Grant's like, wait a minute, what is this? And it's like, oh, it's a raptor. It's like, you breed these things? Like, oh, crap.
You cut off their dicks.
They're all. What were you gonna say, Vex?
Cranisaurs.
No, I was just gonna say this was. Oh God, I lost my train of fucking thought. It's all good. It's
fucking
all good.
women. God damn it.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck.
But Ellie Sattler does say that when man dies out, woman takes over. So
we ain't letting y'all have it. So I'm just.
I don't know if that's
a good here we go. Oh, I remember. Okay, so it's explained that the dinosaurs don't procreate because not only are they all bred to be female, but they're lysine deficient. So all of the plant life on the island, and then there's supplements that they give. Without the lysine, they would die out in just a couple weeks. Like I think it's like 13 or 14 days is what they say. Yeah. They eliminate that piece of knowledge in this movie, but they introduce the idea out of the blue.
They have it in this movie.
Where?
It's in this movie.
Where?
So when they're talking about the possibly shutting down the systems and then rebooting it, Muldoon asks, he goes, "What about the license contingency? We could put that into effect." And Hammond says that is absolutely out of the question. Yeah.
Oh, and then, I forgot it. Okay, thank you.
And Sam Jackson, then he gives a little bit of an explanation. I mean, granted, it's yeah. Now, as much as I like this scene, there's one part of it that bugs the crap out of me, and that's when they pull this thing back up.
It's all busted.
It's ripped to shreds. There's not a lick of blood on it.
No, there's blood.
So, not very much.
Not as much as there should be.
It's tiny little traces. And I'm like, my issue with that is because they cut right to them eating, and Ellie looks kind of grossed out at the idea of eating after that. And I'm like, well, we probably should have gotten a little bit of a visual for why that would be gross her out a little bit. I think this is a good place for a little bit more of a disturbing visual.
Go ahead.
Can I make my hot take, which we've discussed a couple times behind the scenes? This is where I feel like Spielberg is a little bit too childish of a storyteller and director. There's like, just even if you ignore the source material, the idea of people interacting with dinosaurs who are just these beautifully evolved killers and hunters, where is the ultimate? Like, there should be a ton more blood. There should be a lot more fear. Like, even that opening scene with the raptor in the cage and with Muldoon, it's like it's heavily subdued because you're going for like a PG feel so that audiences of every age can go to the theater and enjoy this. But it's it's an issue that they carry forth.
Wait, go back to that shot.
Basic. Fuck.
Yeah, I wanted to show you.
I have a lisp now, apparly. But
yeah, like, where is the freaking blood on this thing?
Right.
I mean, if you listen to the noise and the fact that thing's just flat out gone, it should be covered in blood. I mean, blood should be dripping off of this thing. There should be blood.
It's very little.
How would they
care?
Yeah. I mean, there should be pieces of that thing. And I'm like, look, you don't have to go all out with it, but I'm like, it's, I mean, a little bit of a visual, because it's like, okay, what's the point of showing this scene? It's like, oh, trying to show these raptors are dangerous, and you're leading into Malcolm saying, you're all trying to control these things. It's like, well, show what's so dangerous about trying to control those. Because I'm like, I love the sound design of that part. I love their reactions to like all the wrestling and all the noise. It's like, that's all great. But when that thing lifts back up, it's like it sort of takes the wind out of the scene a little bit. I was like, oh, it's a ripped up net.
Why are they going to waste a little tarp every time that they got to do that? They're probably just going to hook it into an already killed cow.
It's like, Steven, the movie's PG-13. You could put a bit of blood in it.
Yeah. This scene here gets into more of the ethics. So they start. This is where Malcolm, and he has great points. Great points about.
That's one of the things this movie. What's like, because you could easily go into this movie as a kid. Like, I was a kid when I saw it, thinking, oh, this is gonna be cool because there's gonna be dinosaurs and they're gonna be just running amok, and that's awesome. But you watch this as an adult, you're like, okay, these are actually interesting conversations, and there's some interesting concepts being explored. I mean, it's like, while the movie has some flaws with some of its characters, and a few logistical problems, and then little creative touches that probably should have gone a different way, it still does a really good job of building its world, asking important questions, on top of the amazing spectacle of seeing dinosaurs.
Yeah. The whole idea of like he understands why John's doing this, but he's like, yeah, you didn't really think it through though, because basically these things were extinct for a reason, and bringing this it's just too dangerous. It's not worth it.
And he's also kind of like throwing it. He's like, this science all didn't come from you, so you're kind of taking other people's work, and you're now kind of going all the way to the extreme without considering why these things are gone in the first place. And it's an interesting like, I actually think a lot of the reason why people are quicker to ponder things like the dangers of AI and all these other technologies that we have going is because we have movies like this that have kind of provided those questions in a widespread cultural fashion, and we kind of do this automatically now when we hear about new technologies. We start thinking about okay, we're going this direction, but should we go in this direction just because we can? Because that's kind of one of our worst qualities as a species, is when we're able to do something, we rarely think about, or rarely properly consider whether or not we should do something, and we just do it anyway. Just like, oh, we'll just, hopefully the consequences won't be too bad. We just got to adapt to them. I guess it's like, yeah, it's going to probably lead to a lot of people getting hurt,
Yeah. And I like, sorry, go ahead, Waddy, go ahead.
Oh, what's amazing is that they really had to condense,
Let me highlight your gay comments. Sorry.
This is what people missed about this show. Never mind the commentary.
Sorry,
this is what
you're fun.
You're fucking retarded. Okay, sorry.
They had to condense like 200 of Brundlefly's very, very deep, questions here, and it wasn't always just like, it wasn't playing on emotion. It was basically trying to give everybody, it was really, really building out the character of Malcolm, where he's an academic and he loves the sound of his own voice. He loves to talk and teach groups of people and illuminate. He would be the person who'd say, let me illuminate you. He's that kind of guy. And he puts them through the ringer, especially when he's like half dead there nearing the end, which they don't play up too much in the movie. But he gives him every single moral argument of like, or logical, and moral argument of why he's wrong for what he did and what he never even considered. And so they really have to condense that down in the movie, and I respect what they did there.
I like Grant's question, like or this is his statement, like saying, listen, human being, and this is like back then in the 90s, human beings are having a hard time catching up to technology changing, and the world's changing rapidly. And he's right. Like, how do you expect these creatures that were 65 million years old, extinct, to come right back into this new world? And you don't know how they're going to interact with things now.
They're going to want reparations.
They're going to want reparations.
Damn, Blackosaurus is going to come.
It's going to be the summer of
you
love.
Guys, the meteor came and colonized this world for you humans.
Right, dinosaurs.
What's funny is like that part of what I think is kind of interesting in like how this scene aged was, it kind of reminds me of like modern political discourse. You have all these people, who consider themselves experts and talking about this, well, you do this and this and this, you do this and this, whereas I often find myself more in Grant's position. It's like, how can you possibly know what this and this is going to lead to without more information? And I think that's the position Grant's taking, is like, we have no idea what to expect right now. It's like we just suddenly humans and dinosaurs exist together in this world.
Yeah.
we don't know what that's like yet. It's
What
like
does
this
that
is
mean?
completely foreign. We have a completely new ecosystem, basically.
Yeah,
That's where COVID came from.
exactly. Fucking bastards.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this is where I love when the grandkids show
Freaking
up. And
bats.
Grant's like, oh, fucking kids, man. Come on. It's just like, fucking kid. Yeah, then they show you the cars that they take.
This movie taught like millions of kids the word paddock.
Paddock. Exactly.
I don't want a bachelor pad. I want a bachelor paddock
Paddock. Yeah.
with electric fencing around it.
Honda or Toyota in the book, I forget.
Toyota, wasn't it?
I
It was
think so.
Toyota, yeah.
It was Toyota. That I do remember. Don't ask me why I
Yeah.
remember that, but character shit? Nah, I don't remember, but I remember the car they drove.
Because Toyotas, it's the reason why terrorists love Toyota as well. They
Oh,
are
I gotcha.
indestructible.
It's all coming back to me. Okay.
Here's
cool.
like,
There
I know
you
some
go.
people have a bit of a beef with like Lex being kind of this computer nerd because it is fairly plot convenient, and I tend to agree, but I don't think it's completely unjustified because, computers were kind of starting to be popularized, and you basically have this young kid who has kind of become enamored with it. I think they build it more or less well to make it believable. Yes, it is sort of a bit of a Deus Ex Machina a little bit, but I don't think it's wholly unrealistic either.
Do we think that Timmy here grew up to celebrate Pride Month at any point?
Yes.
It's funny.
Oh, yes.
Funny. I mean, honestly, this kid turned into a pretty good actor. He was in The Pacific. He's great in The Pacific. He's,
right.
Yeah, he's the kid who comes in very religious and moral, and he gets completely traumatized. He also, funny enough, plays a similar role in the third season of Justified, I think it was. He's really good in that too. He's kind of a snake handling preacher. And that, but yeah, he's actually a really good actor.
Okay.
I
Real
didn't
quick.
care for the change. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead, Fix. Oh,
Oh, no, you
care
go
for what
ahead.
now?
thank you, Blue Collar.
No, you go ahead.
You do it.
Do it.
Do it. Thank you, Blue Collar, for $2. Says at 10, the CGI was amazing. Catch replay after Nick. Yes, it was amazing. Thank you for the $2, sir. Should we play the clip now?
We can save it.
All right, we'll save it for later.
All right. So I
here-
didn't like the
Don't
kids right here.
waste it on no.
here,
No,
we'll,
no,
Oh, here,
no.
listen. We'll give you this one because I haven't heard this in a while. I need this.
Chorizo.
Chorizo. It's been too long.
Oh my god.
Chorizo.
My churros homies.
Thank you, Blue Collar.
All right. So I hated the kids right here just because.
Fuck them kids.
And you have a problem with Alan not liking kids. You're like, I hate these kids.
Fuck them kids, bro.
No, I hate the change that they made to these kids. So the boy
know.
becomes, Alan's afraid of that boy. He's like, I can't be around a kid. I'm not even allowed within 500 feet of them. So, yeah. So
Kids smell, Whitey. It's a fact.
well,
Oh, yeah.
so, okay,
Some
so
kids-
they made him gay. No, okay, so they made the boy younger when he was supposed to be, older. And hey, that's
Mhm.
fine. You can switch that up. But the kid was
There's a
supposed
bit
to
of
be
a
the
story
one.
behind that.
Well, okay. But
Go ahead.
So, there's-
I don't give a shit.
I was like, no. I was like, there is. I didn't know that. Okay, but
It's a little bit of casting trivia.
okay, so somebody's little nephew that really needed the work, so he, he had little kid retard cancer. Okay, whatever. But, so little Timmy over here was supposed to be older. He was supposed to, be the slightly more responsible one and all that. And
Yeah.
the little sister was the tomboy. So they had her being very good at that and being able to still get onto her brother's nerves and all that. But
Right.
he knew about the all the computers and all that, and he knew about the dinosaurs. Now I guess that would have been too much for him for them to have him basically having 2 good points, because in the book he's naming off every dinosaur. He's
Yeah.
finding missing bones, and being able to count the vertebrae, and also he's quote unquote a computer whiz compared to anybody else who's left alive by the end of the book and all that. So maybe that's why they were trying to rebalance it there. But in the
It
end,
sounds like they took the dinosaur thing and kept
Yeah.
it with him, and they took the computer thing and gave it to her.
Just split 'em
well,
up,
now
yeah.
what's the thing about the boy? Well, what were you about to say about that?
Well, it's part of the casting trivia. That can wait.
What?
Yeah, Whitey, fuck you, man.
Until then, it's little kid retard
Patient,
cancer.
bro. God. What the fuck?
I mean, no.
Do it.
Okay, okay, so basically the kid, he auditioned to be in Hook, which Spielberg also directed. In fact, he directed this around the time they were starting to work on scripting for this. And the kid was great in his audition, but he was too young to be in Hook. Like Spielberg's like, it's like he's probably a little bit too young to be in this movie. So, but he liked the kid a lot, and he thought he was a pretty strong actor. So he told him, he's like, hey, I promise you, soon as I get a project that we can work together, I will. So basically, he cast him as Tim, to kind of fulfill that promise.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I like this line here from Hammond where he tells Newman. I'm just going to call him Newman.
Yeah, we call him Newman.
Newman.
It's a good line. I don't blame them for their mistakes, but I do ask that they pay for them. It's very true.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. Look at his fucking workstation. Jesus.
And freaking Sam Jackson, of all people, is in this movie. Which a lot of people, when you think, what was the first Sam Jackson movie you saw? Probably most people are like, probably Pulp Fiction or something. Yeah. Everyone forgets that he was in Goodfellas and he's in Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Yeah. We see his arm later.
Coming up on the Tyrannosaur.
We can see Sam Jackson's arm later, but we couldn't see any blood from the tarp on the cow.
Yeah.
Fucking Spielberg. Well, consider the source, Whitey. I mean, what's his last name again? Oh,
which one?
Spielberg.
Oh, well, it's Spielberg.
No, I know. I'm saying consider what he. Never mind. We're not going to go there. Nah.
Wayne Knight, by the way, it feels like there was a joke about that with him. I'm pretty sure he's Catholic.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's even worse.
And he was on Seinfeld? Wow.
Also, I don't know if Knight doesn't sound like a tribal name.
No, it doesn't. Tribal name? What part of the world? Yeah, I like this here. God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. And then Vex's favorite line here.
Yeah, if this was the only kind of line that's semi-feminist, I wouldn't have minded because it's kind of funny. Yeah. It's kind of a funny line where you don't even necessarily like inherently associate it with feminism. You're like, oh, okay, it's kind of funny. It's the later line attitudes. You're like, oh. Now, because the funny thing is, there are several like early '90s movies that have these little bits of moments where there's feminism, like even like Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
Like if you watch that movie now, it's still a really funny movie, but his daughter is very feminist.
Oh God, yeah.
Granted, the movie presents her as being wrong a lot of the time, at least. But
the blender scene, that was good. I happen to be a vegetarian. Yeah, well, very, very fucking proud of you.
This is your month, then, veggie.
Yeah. So they're not seeing any dinosaurs. Imagine how pissed you would be. You come all this way, and you only have like a few days, and you don't see any dinosaurs on the floor.
And that's the thing. It feels very realistic in that sense because if you're gonna make a park with dinosaurs, you have to give them huge, wide open spaces.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, the last zoo I went to was probably like 2019. I went to the zoo in Chicago, and it completely turned me off of zoos. It completely turned me off.
I was going to say Chicago's a zoo.
No, I don't just mean like I walked downtown. That's not what I mean. I mean, I did, but different.
Is
unprotected. That's an unprotected zoo. I'm talking about one with cool animals. Wow. But it completely put me off the idea of zoos because seeing like these amazing, beautiful animals like jaguars and stuff like that just stuck in these little cages, I was like, this just kind of makes me sad.
Right.
Whereas, you see a park like this and you're like, okay, dinosaurs, you'd have to have a lot of space, and there's no guarantee they're going to show up for you.
Yep. Look, this is him explaining chaos theory with water, and he's heavily flirting. You're right. Like let's drop this drop of water down your shirt. Okay, now which way is it gonna go? Grant, did you see this? He's like, nah, fuck you. Do whatever you want to do. I'm going to see the dinosaur.
Oh my gosh, it went down the other nipple.
It's down your pants. Whoops.
let's just keep doing the water dropping straight to your thumb.
Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Would you just look at it?
Whoops.
Hey,
I'm looking at it.
Oh, this is where they see the what was the dinosaur? Was it Triceratops here? That's sick?
Yeah.
Yeah, Triceratops.
Yes, Cannoli, this is a Triceratops.
Yeah, thank you.
It's like the second most popular dinosaur in the world.
Yeah, I remember.
Like T-Rex.
But they did. This was great. This looked good with the animatronics and everything.
Still looks good today.
Yes, fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's being.
This looks like they are interacting with an animal.
Yep.
Yeah, this scene is more or less the same in the book. There's a little more discussion on what it might have eaten from Ellie. Like she gets a little bit more of the spotlight here. But yeah, I like this scene quite a bit. I hate that they kind of butcher it in Jurassic World, I think it is. Yeah.
Which aspect of it?
No, so in one of the scenes in the first Jurassic World movie, so like as the Indominus Rex is kind of carving out its path towards the main tourist area or whatever, they find a downed brontosaurus, and like they have an animatronic head again for it, and Owen leans down and he's just trying to comfort the thing, and like Claire, despite working for 5 fucking years for this company developing dinosaurs and seeing them, only now is she suddenly just like, oh my god, these are real animals, and she starts crying. So they use it as a weird emotional moment, but it doesn't make any sense because it's inconsistent with one of the main characters' like motivations.
I remember that. No.
It's funny because it's meant to just be a member berry.
It's funny as there's that line in The Lost World where Ian's selling John. He's like, wow, so you went from capitalist to naturalist in just 4 years. It's like she did it in like 4 minutes. It's like, she's like, oh my gosh, a dinosaur. I'm gonna go all woman here. It's like, give me a freaking break. Those movies
and like
suck.
The weird part about it is like Owen and her had a relationship. It's like alluded to at one point, but his thing has always been these are animals, these are living things, and yet she still didn't get it. Then,
speaking of Jurassic World.
Yeah, perfect. Yep,
that's a perfect segue into the visual. Like this isn't just this is like the foreshadowing we didn't realize was happening. They were telling us the sequels, ladies and gentlemen. Oh god, yeah, all of the sequels.
Well, you know, this is just the foreshadowing of one sequel, but then in Jurassic Park 3, we see them dig through multiple piles of shit. Which would be the Jurassic World sequels, plus the Jurassic World TV shows that came out, plus the Jurassic World novels that came out.
Wait, there were Jurassic World TV shows?
Yeah, so there's 2 kids shows that one is still on Netflix. The other one ran for like 2 years. And then there were 2 novels. Both of them are young adult novels. One of them was like Claire Dearing's like origin story, I guess. I can't remember what the other, but it wasn't adult novels. They were meant for like
that's what I mean. But like I didn't even know that. Wow.
This thunderstorm.
Yeah. They went hard. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, look at that thunder!
I take it.
He turned Asian. Thunder Christ.
I think I turned Japanese.
Look,
I think I heard the atomic bomb.
Even the girls like, what the hell?
Oh my god, he's Godzilla!
Gojira.
My God. It's kind of sad that the closest thing we've gotten to good dinosaur movies since this are Peter Jackson's King Kong, which is good but way too long. Oh, God, and then finally we got Godzilla -1, which is pretty awesome.
Two problems with King Kong: it's way too long, and Jack Black's in it.
Yes, Jack Black should have been eaten. I mean, gosh, the dinosaur sequences. It's so funny to go back and rewatch the movie and realize you can skip the first hour and nothing has happened.
Nothing changes.
Nothing has happened. And it's sad because it takes an hour to get to that island, and there's 2 hours of movie left.
You're right. There's a lot of really good stuff in that movie. Holy shit.
Once you get to the island and Kong is fighting like the giant T-Rex, holy crap, it looks amazing. Yeah. But it's just like, boy, you gotta slog through some crap just to get to the good stuff.
Just getting through Adrian Brody's nose.
Good luck with that. We're still in it.
Yeah. So this is the boat guy who's gonna. So yeah, he's fucked here because his timeline's quick. It's coming up much faster than he wanted because of the storm that's coming. And he's like, "Hey, you gotta get me into time." You got fucking Newman. Guy's a mess. And then
so he's having to rush and get out of this and
get the embryos and get out faster, and it just creates a fucking it's just a mess. everything that can go wrong goes wrong for this guy, and it's
He's
like,
got the soy face going on here.
oh.
Dinosaurs! Oh my god!
You really could soy jack this photo. You really could.
Did you see him turn Japanese? Oh my god!
His frantic talking about I did this and the system should be highly for a while. Like,
So good.
Anybody want a soda or something? I had always sweet, so I would get something salty. I thought maybe so.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
you're
good.
trailing off there, buddy.
Yeah. Oh god, it's so funny. But yeah, he has to basically shut down certain.
I have to go for a minute. You know, I'm fat. I do fat things.
I'm just sweating sitting here. I gotta go.
There's ragu coming out of a place that's scratched on my leg from my diabetes. Okay, so I gotta go.
Fat Damon.
Fat Damon.
I like how he asked Grant here, like, are you and her kind of? He's like, yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm always on the lookout for the future Miss Malcolm. But he does say he loves.
Which turns out to be a black woman.
Yeah, well,
and he has a like one of the funny parts, but also weird parts in the Lost World is, you know, he has this daughter who does not look remotely mixed. I mean, granted, technically, yes, your kid's not gonna look mixed. That's not an absolute. But I love that the movie, like Vince Vaughn's like, do you see any family resemblance?
Shit.
It's like we used to be able to point that stuff out. It was funny.
That was like such a weird creative choice. Like just have it be a regular Jewish kid, man. Like why you got to do all these extra steps?
It's Spielberg.
It should have been a fly.
Chaos theory happened in the bedroom.
You don't know her dark.
This is my daughter, Chaos.
Food stamps find a way.
She had her stamps next to me in the grocery store.
Do you think Retardosaurus is among these embryos?
Oh, easily.
Probably, yeah.
They get like maybe one of them should have been colored like some like piss color, or like maybe like kind of like a little bit of like diarrhea color or something. They're like, what is this? It's like I don't know what this is. They just said it lives a long time.
You know what? It's just hitting me now that just suddenly making a second island kind of undoes Nedry's whole plot line. Like, if there's a second island, why wouldn't you just try and get some spies on that instead? Because there's bound to be facilities there.
It's possible. I mean, potentially, but it's like you need somebody who's amenable to your cause, and
that's true.
It's possible Nedry approached them. I mean, granted, this isn't something I don't know if they explored it in the books necessarily, but it's like you would need. I mean, you would need somebody who's going to give into your operation. And the one thing this movie does seem to present is that at the moment, this is a relatively intimate workplace where most of the people know each other. So I think that you can reason your way around that, but it does add a layer of what if. It's like, maybe they should have approached somebody else. I mean, maybe the access is a little bit different there. Maybe it was easier here. Don't know.
It's just that it adds it's an unnecessary risk for Nedry now at this point, right? That's the bigger thing I'm saying, because he's only got like a 15-minute window for the power to shut down, to get the samples, and then to get to the dock and breach the boat before the storm, right? So it's just like it's kind of undoes like this entire subplot, not just of this movie, but it kind of undoes the big, this is the big moment that leads into the climax of the story. And it's all just kind of like, oh, well, there was a second island and a third island, and I guess there's 4, 5, 6 islands now, so it doesn't matter.
The main thing is because you could argue that the only reason he gets really pressed for time is because of the storm that's coming. So that's why they're leaving to avoid the storm. But it's like, I mean, I get that weather systems weren't quite as advanced as they are now, but
they weren't tracking it though.
Granted, unless the hurricane was just starting to develop right there,
right?
Which seems unlikely.
Did they mention the storm's coming?
You kind of know days in advance. I've got to make sure I do this. Granted, it's hard to predict exactly when the landfall is going to be and that kind of thing. So you don't know exactly when the boat's going to land. Maybe this is the point where it's safest for them to leave without, granted, they're pushing it hard.
So just to add a little, just to add like another thing to that. So So the storm pushes the time limit, but even in the novel, it was like a 15 minutes, like with the power shut off that he had anyways. So regardless of whether the storm hit or not, He had 15 minutes for the power out to get the samples, go to the dock, deliver it, and then come back, right? He was supposed to come back. So it's yeah, he was supposed to come back.
So that's actually always one of the questions I've had is like, does he at least, I mean, granted, I don't know if they even address it in the movie, if he intends to come back or if he's just going to leave on the boat. But yeah, it's like, I mean, I guess it probably would make more sense for him to come back, but yeah, it's because
he's doing this all off the fly, right? He can't, because otherwise he loses money, he loses his reputation if anyone finds out. But it was supposed to be the power goes out for 15 minutes. That gives him enough time to go to the dock, deliver the sample, and come back. But because the storm happens, that throws everything, like, you know, in a tiz, and he ends up dying because, you know, the storm kind of washes out the sign and all of that stuff. So it's by pure convenience that it turns out the way it does, or not convenience, I should say, but for some narrative tension. Things turn out the way it does.
Granted, you could argue probably, I mean, there is a sense in which it might make more sense for him to leave after that because he did just steal from them. And part of covering your tracks stealing is, well, the dinosaurs are going to be running amok. Maybe you're expecting all of them to die, which, you know, adds a pretty dark layer to his intentions. It's just I guess it's like, it's not exactly clear because, you know, you would think that if that were the case, that you might see like an aspect of him like kind of wrestling morally with the idea that I'm going to let all these things out and it's going to kill these people. So, which they don't really do that. So it's hard to know exactly whether he was like, yeah, I'm getting out of here after this. I'm going to have my money and I don't want them knowing I stole from them. So
here you go, White Bear. This is for you.
Compartmentalize.
Is that his actual squeal? I always thought it was the canister.
That's a squeal.
That's his squeal.
Wow.
I've been here listening. I'm sorry, Bex was making a good point. Gord was making a good point. But I've been here listening to Jeff Goldblum laugh remix and Dennis Nedry rap. Like, they replaced every dinosaur yell with. They replaced every dinosaur sound with Nedry squeal.
Oh God! Fucking A.
But you guys are making great points. I swear.
No, they're great.
This is the quality show you've been missing, YouTube.
You know what I'm saying? It's been too long. Yeah, there we go. With the,
too long.
The infamous.
Rumble.
Go ahead, Beck. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just want to add because I think we had this discussion in our text messages or something, but there is one glaring logistical error here. So remember that this is the T-Rex paddock, right? So they put the goat out there to lure it in so they could see it. It's on flat land, and then as soon as the T-Rex comes out, still on flat land, but when it pushes the car over, which is right next to where it came out, suddenly that's a cliff.
It's a cliff.
Yeah, it's a very clear logistical error. You can even argue maybe there's a slight inconsistency with the fact that the T-Rex makes this happen. You know, with these rumbles with him stepping, where you haven't heard that with all of the larger dinosaurs. Which, I mean, you kind of got a little of that with the brachiosaurs, but now granted, you could argue that maybe it's the way they shift their weight. I mean, and plus, it's like the water thing is just specifically for this scene. But regardless of that logistical error and maybe that minor inconsistency, holy freaking crap, is that scene awesome?
Oh,
it's so cool,
dude.
So there was there's a podcast you can listen to where they had one of the screenwriters from this on, and they said that the reason that error kind of stayed in, it was a minor oversight, but this was supposed to originally be a raptor paddock. The shot that they use it from, so that's why there's a bit of an inconsistency. Yes, but I do agree, this is a great fucking reveal. I love this animatronic.
Amazing.
I don't know if any of you guys went to the Universal Studios in Orlando.
Well, I've seen it.
But when I was a kid, they actually had one of these animatronic dinosaurs at the Orlando one.
So cool.
Which was pretty fucking awesome. Yeah.
This is amazing. Yeah, this is
got a ride map.
This is where also like
what the fuck?
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, this is where
I went to Universal and all I got was a stupid ride.
Probably why they make that little joke about, oh, he's like, oh yeah, why didn't I build an Orlando? That line. But yeah, like this, gosh, the sound design
Dude.
in this sequence is so amazing. That like, and I told you this already, Kano. It's like, so when we were kids and we bought this movie, finally, like my dad had just bought this large stereo that sat beside the TV. You know, we play music and stuff like that, but he hooked it to our television. And this was the first movie we watched with it. And it was like a go-to for just because it would just fill the living room. And this scene is just like, even if you were ready to go to sleep and this was the movie you put on to fall asleep to, you had to get to this scene. Like you had to get to this scene.
Yeah.
Because it's so freaking
it's terrifying,
awesome.
Especially the way the wires start snapping off and you're like, oh God, this thing, because the security systems are shut down. And the way he just pops out, you're like, oh my God. But yeah, you're right. I think, the mix of CGI and practical here is freaking, it's unbelievable. It still looks good, like we were saying.
Not again.
And I love that they do this. I love that they do this with no music. That's one of the best things about this scene is there's no music in this part. It's just the sound of the scene. It is so phenomenal.
Malcolm's, God, I hate being right all the time. Great line. And he tells, like, they're trying to say, like, Grant being the expert, he's like, yeah, don't move. Their vision's based on only move. And of course, the stupid kids got flashlights fucking going off in the car, but they don't know. But still, just the idea of like, sorry, go ahead, Vex.
No, finish your thought.
I was just saying, like, seeing this in '93 for the first time, like, just putting yourself in those kids' position of seeing this, like, just imagine seeing this fucking dinosaur looking down on you that's been extinct. And you're like, this isn't happening.
I would have chaos theoried all in my pants.
Sorry, Vex, go ahead.
Life away. It's just
We're gonna shut up.
Shut up.
I just rewatching that. I got like you guys. I've seen this. I can't even count how many times I've seen this movie. But even just rewatching this over the last week, like,
unbelievable.
I had this on in the background, and I had to stop and watch just for this scene. But also the scene still, after so many years and so many watches, it still sends an absolute chill down my spine. There are some very minor changes to how this plays out compared to the novel. But I actually think this is, I think it dulls the horror element a little bit. But just the idea of this T-Rex kind of coming after you and you have nowhere to run or hide. I think Spielberg did a pretty fucking phenomenal job with this. And there's blood in this scene too.
There's blood, and then this scene here, just like with the thing crashing through the top of the car, you're like, oh my God.
And I love like the growls are just like, and the look in its eyes. It's just like everything about this is so terrifying to consider if you're a kid. Like, it's not quite the same level of horror like Jaws, you know.
Different.
You know, that, you know, very, you know, the other Spielberg monster movie, because obviously sharks are in our world today, and you know, a shark attack is feasible. A dinosaur attack right now is not. But just putting yourself in this.
Dinosaurs are just cats and or birds. So yes, the threat is still real, but continue.
But putting yourself in these kids' shoes and whatnot, and you have just this monster just has you completely trapped, and it's just like, it looks terrifying. It's growls. It's just everything about this is just
excuse me, Gord.
It's such a great scene.
It's bellowing loudly. Okay.
Oh my mistake. It's Bellow Ramsey.
That was me after eating.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm a dad?
Honestly, Bellow Ramsey would be a good name for a Retardosaurus.
Yep.
I'm a dad.
I'm a dad.
Yeah,
that's the one. I mean, if life finds a way, one of those mothers is going to be. One of those mothers probably would say that.
Shows Grant just hugging a giant potato. Oh my! That's a big pile of shit.
That's a big pile of shit. I love this here because he throws the thing and you think, oh, he's gonna, and then the fucking Malcolm gets out of it.
Vex is right. They are cats. This thing follows that flare like a cat.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Malcolm just runs. He's like, fucking Malcolm, what are you doing, man?
Then Brundle Jew like has to try to steal the glory. And
this This was a big stress relief for me. This let out a lot of anger for me. This scene when the lawyer.
What a humiliating death too. He dies sitting on
the
toilet.
toilet.
Right.
That's what they
Dinosaur
deserve.
just took out 3 characters at one time.
Yep.
This guy missed his daughter's birthday party for this.
Hey, I mean, what they say? I mean, the dinosaur's vision's based on movement. We just didn't connect immediately that it was bowel movement.
Oh.
I love this shot too with the freaking
Shitty logic right there, Gord.
You're all full of crap. I love this scene too with the footprint. The foot comes right in. They're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Great shot here.
This is like another one of those things that's become iconic for the other movies to use over and over again.
Yeah,
but
over and over.
they do it with the CGI instead of using a real foot, and they don't understand that the real threat of a dinosaur is what made the footprint thing so fucking
terrifying.
scary.
Look at this thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, this thing it's kind of blowing my mind how many behaviors this thing has that are like a cat. It's trying to push this car over the edge the way cats push glasses off. This thing is a freaking cat.
Max wasn't lying. Yeah.
Thank you.
They aren't
Thank you.
birds,
Yep.
they're felines.
Sick bastards. Eat you in your sleep. Cats. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but these little things like that, them swinging over the rope as the truck goes down. But it's like, dude, that whole scene,
even that last roar it gives that kind of punctuates the end of the scene. It's so good. It's all so good.
Look at them going.
Mr. Arnold here, he smokes his cigarettes down to the freaking nub.
Dude,
he probably sucks. He sucks on the filter when he's done. I'll bet.
Yeah, like about 3 minutes ago, he had it. It was
in his mouth.
The cherry was burnt to the filter. I'm like, dude, you know that doesn't taste good. He probably likes cigarettes backwards. He's like, he goes, I don't give a shit.
This is good.
I smoke them anyway.
Oh god, this fucking guy gets lost. Tries to get his car out of the freaking mud and then he falls, and then what was the name of this dinosaur? Was this the one?
Dilophosaurus.
This is the one they wanted to see earlier and they didn't get to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spits poison at its freaking enemies.
The Hawktuasaur.
The Hawktua. And I like this guy. He's like, hello? And I like how he tries to play fetch with the freaking dinosaur. Stick, stupid.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about. I mean, because granted, this scene in the book scene, this is the scene from the book I remember most vividly because the Dilophosaurus is much bigger. His death is far more violent.
Yes.
But I think they both are great for just different reasons.
Yeah.
What I like about this one is how just disarmingly cute this dinosaur seems at first.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kind of do this at the beginning of The Lost World with the compies, but with this one, it's like it's an ugly looking dinosaur, but its behavior and the noise it's making, it's just like it's very disarming, and you're like, this thing doesn't seem so bad. Yeah. And then it just completely goes crazy, and you're like, oh crap, this thing's pretty nasty.
I do have a hard time with it, how much it isn't as violent and all that. And it's left, one thing that it does that a lot of movies did back then in a way was kind of leave it up to your imagination of how bad it went. But this one kind of turned out in a way where, they just show him, that he screams and it shows the vehicle rocking in the background. If anything can be put to like a rap song or a pop song or Who Let the Dogs Out, while it's zooming out, if right now, if they just zoomed out right here and they show the car rocking back and forth, they could have got away with it because people are so fucking stupid nowadays and their expectations are so low. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. But man, if I could have seen,
that you're getting gutted by a 10-foot, much bigger. Because I guess because what you sacrifice for the scene to get more of a faithful translation from the book would be that you kind of would immediately know he's screwed because the dinosaur is much bigger, and you're like, oh well, he's screwed. This isn't going to go well. But I do like I think they're very different scenes, but I think they both work pretty well. But yeah, if you're going for more like what James Cameron had an idea for how he would, because James Cameron, to my understanding, wanted to adapt this more like the nastier feel, like something like Aliens, which I think 93 James Cameron actually could have made a good book.
Yeah, I was going to say back then maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, his version I think would have been interesting because he probably would have been a little bit more faithful to the books, but going for the more friendly to the young people type of movie that this goes for, I think this works. This movie, let's be real, like Spielberg's version, made way more money than probably a more violent version would have made, because R-rated movies just were not big. They weren't nearly as big as like the PG-13 movies.
Do we blame him, or do we blame him in conjunction with Kathleen Kennedy?
I don't think it. I mean, personally, I don't blame it at all, because I think the movie's great. I mean, so I don't mind that we didn't get a super faithful book adaptation. I think they both work well on their own. I would be interested in a book faithful adaptation, but I don't necessarily have to have it exist to like this one.
Vet's brought up a great point. Would this be today, if this was made properly, this would be a better
Today
movie.
is honestly arguably a better time for a more faithful
Well, it would be a better would it be a better miniseries than a movie?
Miniseries.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. 6
episodes. And you'd have to, I mean, granted, now, does the director exist who would do it? I have no idea.
No.
What are we going to say?
There's so much that this movie and even the sequels just leave out. And the moments that they do kind of put into the other sequels, it's taken completely out of context. And the weight isn't there for them, right? And there's just there's this whole like existential philosophical angle that only this film really touches on. The other ones don't so as much, and even here it's a very light note. It's not forefront, it's not at the center of everything that goes down. So I think you could make a really, really compelling like sci-fi horror mini series, 8 to 10 episodes. Flush this story out, man. Like, can you imagine, like, first episode opening, it's dark and rainy at night, the wind is blowing, we're in this tiny little village on a coastal in Cuba, right? You have the moonlight not moonlight, but like the thunderlight is coming through, and there's just pouring rain, and this mother just walks into a bedroom to check on her baby. Baby's all fine. She walks out, goes to the washroom or anything, comes back to check on that baby one more time, and all it is a bunch of compies ripping that kid to fucking shreds.
And would be the opening scene.
That would be the opening scene of your series. And then
Jurassic Park, directed by Peter Jackson and the guy who did Terrifier, Damien. I can't remember his name.
Damien Leone.
Leone. It's like you get Peter Jackson and Damien Leone to work on the Jurassic Park miniseries. You might have something.
And then it zooms and it shows the mother's face and her screaming, and then it starts playing the Goosebumps theme But seriously, there's so much left out of this movie that what Vex was saying, it could happen. They could make this into.
They could easily do a miniseries. Yeah,
there's so
much.
It's
way better than making another sequel to the crap they've made since.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, stop making movies.
Crap! Stop with Jurassic World. Well, they won't stop. They won't stop until they stop making money, because all of these movies make $1 billion.
Make money internationally. They do well. Yeah.
Chinese
bastards
with their freaking Gennaro bias.
China. Corp.
I do love the line where Muldoon and Ellie come upon like the destroyed bathroom, and he's like, "I think this was Gennaro," and she's like, "I think this was too," and they're in completely separate parts. And I'm like, that's like his. What's funny is like the Lost World shows a similar death, but actually shows it. They show Eddie, who's probably the most heroic character in the movie, gets the worst death because he gets pulled apart by 2 T-Rexes. And you fully see it.
Yep.
And it's pretty. I mean, granted, it's not nearly as gory as it could have been, I guess, but
still good.
I'm like, it's weird that I think in this one it's a little bit better, because you see enough of Gennaro's death where it's pretty visceral, and then that line I think is really, really good. Whereas Eddie's death, you're just kind of pissed off because you're like, Sarah Harding's a complete retard who caused him to die.
Another one of the famous scenes here when the T-Rex starts chasing them in the Jeep. I love Malcolm's like, you want to hurry the fuck up here?
I do like when he's on the ground, they're like, can we chance moving? He's like, please chance it.
Yeah, please. And again,
he's like, yes, please move me out of here.
This was another great scene. I love when it gets into the side mirror, like right up it, and says objects might be closer than they appear, and you see the T-Rex's mouth. Just
I wonder if they. I wish I could see the deleted scenes for this movie. Like, did they? Because there's like 3 chapters between them even finding Malcolm again.
Yeah,
and like it would be cool if they like. I'd love to see the deleted scenes if they ever did have like conversations, the deep conversations between realizing Hammond's a little bit fucked up in the head and all that, you know, and yeah, everything that's going back, you know, they had to. I know that they had to.
That's possible. You think that'll be on the tour?
I don't, you know, I don't think those deleted scenes exist because they changed Hammond so much. They make him too charismatic, too likable, too like naively charming for that conversation to even take place at any point. I would argue, if anything, one of the big reasons why Malcolm kind of stays so loyal to his novel version is because they take that evil away. So they need another character to actually ground this a little bit more in reality. Because when you look at, you know, Grant and Sattler, they're so excited to just kind of see like the thing that they've dedicated their lives to in the flesh here, right? So there's still a wonderment angle with them. Children don't know what the fuck is going on, and Gennaro is just reduced down to like this little fucking Jewy wimp, essentially.
Wow.
So
I'm pretty sure he's Italian.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I didn't want to mention that. But.
Yes, but he don't look Italian. That ain't no Italian. No.
Gennaro wimp.
Oh, Gennaro.
Gennaro, not Gennaro or something.
Gennaro Stein.
Gennaroberg. There you go.
Genauschwitz.
Yeah.
Wow.
They
Right?
really
So
did.
it's like yeah, I agree with you, Whitey. Like, it'd be great if like Hammond were a little bit more multi-dimensional as a character, but
Right now, he's in his
there's just no
office
room for that.
dressing as a leprechaun, dancing with his 2-foot-tall little baby elephant that he grew in a lab. You know, for investors and all that. He's just having a gay old time, and everybody's dying, and he's just like, "Boy, I was
Chaos
lost."
theory.
He's the Joe
You have a
Biden.
weird, you have a very interesting headcanon of him.
Yeah.
No, that's what actually happens in the novel. That's how he sells the idea to investors. Is he manages to make
He raised
this like
$780 million with that elephant.
Holy crap!
Yeah, he had the he
No, I thought you were literally
elephants, and
talking
he
about
made it-
like I thought you were talking about movie John Hammond. I was like,
No, no. Sorry, no. Book John Hammond. The way he was able to get investors was that they made these miniature clones of Asian elephants, and he would carry it around in like a bird cage to all of the fucking meetings, and everyone was so enamored by it, and they all wanted one. But the
Turns out
thing
it's,
is,
like,
and this is
retarded
where
as shit.
yeah, and they would die really quickly is the other thing, and Hammond wouldn't reveal this to anyone. Only the Dr. Wu is the only one that knew that. They kept dying every couple of weeks because we couldn't figure it out. So like it shows how
kind of allusion
deceitful.
to. Do you think that's some kind of allusion to Thomas Edison and the elephant he electrocuted?
Oh,
That could
I
be.
wonder.
I mean, that's probably where what
Oh.
inspired kind of the story, because you know it's all a trick. You know, it's all a trick. They use the wrong type of electricity to kill that elephant, anyways. You know, but yeah, it is just amazing how they did that character. And also, I wish that they had kind of shown, like, I don't know, they can't go into the past in this movie at all. They can't do that. Because they're bringing the past to the anyway. But the way that he got Dr. Wu into all this by being a good showman. That's what he was. He's supposed to be a showman. He doesn't really know the science behind everything, but he is a good showman, and he's a good person to be able to talk you into shit.
He's basically Steve Jobs. He's Steve Jobs.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Okay, that's good. That's a good way to put it. And that's how he got Wu into all this. That's how he got people who were.
He wooed Wu.
He wooed him over.
Really
wow.
Well, the interesting thing about Wu is that he caught him like right out of graduate school, and he saw the potential there, and he's like, "You don't have to, work in all these labs or anything. I will give you the opportunity to make your name in the next 5 years. I guarantee you will make a name for yourself in the next 5 years, and you will have millions of dollars under your belt before it happens as well."
Right,
Don't
right.
just
By the
talk
way,
about
this
science. Do science.
Yeah. By the way, this is me during all of the other Jurassic Park movies.
I don't know. She looks a little bit more manly than you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I do not think she's a pretty actress.
I meant it in the aspirational sense,
I like this scene where they're basically he's trying to like justify why he did what he did.
I mean, he's explaining like his motivation and how he's like, you know, he is a showman. He's very Walt Disney like, but like kind of a mix of Walt Disney and Steve Jobs. He's the idea person. He wants to entertain. He wants people to be in awe. You know, he's, you know, they're not bad motivations. It's just what he chose to bring to the world. It's like, wow, it's like this was a dangerous thing. It's like this is like there is one really good line in Jurassic Park 3 where they're walking through one of the labs and one of the characters says, "So this is what it's like to build a dinosaur," and Grant goes, "No, this is like what it's like to play God." And that's kind of, it's like, this is hubris. It's like you're playing God here just for the sake of awe, and that's not the purpose of nature. It's not supposed to bring about awe in the controlled sense. It's like part of what's awe-inspiring about nature is that it's not something you can fully control.
Yeah, and I even like this part here where he's trying to be like, well, the next, you know, we can correct this and this, and she's like, nah. I think
like, no, come down, dude. Come down, old man.
Why did you guys make more movies?
And look, if you go back now, this is going to be my petty take about the movie. They gave him like a bucket of great value, you know, Dollar General ice cream here. And in the books, he had
spared no expense
brought to him by some Haitian lady who he goes, she's not from around here, you know. And then look, he's like, I didn't want Metropolitan. I didn't want that. You know, like what the?
Give me some ice cream.
She rolls a lot more than cigars, you know.
you old Scottish bastard.
I get her to wax my little legs.
I will say this. I do think Laura Dern's acting is pretty meh in this scene. She's not like, this is a scene where she has to be pretty emotive, and I'm like, this is a scene where I'm like, she's good in pretty much the rest of the movie. Well, not all the rest of the movie. There's another scene where she's not very good, but this scene in particular, I was like, I get the idea behind casting some of these people, but she's not great in this scene. You probably should have gone with a different.
She looks like a giraffe.
The scene where she ends up.
I'm afraid she's gonna sneeze on me.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Just on Laura Dern's acting, the scene where she has to go to turn on the generators again.
Oh yeah.
When she's leaving and she sees, when she's leaving and sees Grant and. It's like, run! And I'm like, what? Who thought that? Why'd she even say that? She's just telling herself, it's like, why don't you just not say it and just go?
Right. And the way she starts limping and it looks like she's trying to push out a really hard turd or something, man. Like, it just,
when you gotta go.
Yeah, it's the limp. I guess it's like, I don't know. Number one, it's like, I don't even know why she's limping because we don't really see her get hurt. I mean, but it's the grunting where she's like, and I'm like, calm down, woman.
It's the ice cream. It's coming back. Oh look, the baby dinosaurs.
Oh, it's good timing. Good timing.
It's a Vegosaurus.
It's a Vagisaurus.
I like how
they're all Vagisauruses. That's why they can't have babies.
I love that this kid gets sneezed on. Oh, you fuck off, you vegetarian.
Only thing is, I would say this, if I were Grant, there ain't no way I'm gonna be up on that tree playing tug of war with
a dinosaur.
With a 65-ton dinosaur. I'm like, that thing makes the slightest like jerk of a movement. It's like, you're done.
You're dead.
You're freaking dead, dude.
Oh, look, there's dinosaur eggs.
I'll say this, I don't think this scene should be in the movie. I think you're confirming Malcolm's line way too. It's like, wow, they adapted way too quickly. I'm like, I don't particularly like the scene because there's really nothing more to it other than just to kind of affirm Jeff Goldblum's line from earlier. And I'm like, there's really nothing else to this scene. And I'm like, I mean, I get the whole like they're justifying it with the frog DNA, but I'm like, this is really fast.
This
is happening really quickly.
Yeah. See, this is they do find raptor eggs out on the island. Oh, you can stay paused right there. But like,
I once played the fly. Now I undo it.
So they find the raptor eggs in the novel, but again, the lead up to it is a lot more tense. It's a lot more shocking and almost horrific. when they find it as well. But they do utilize that as a moment to because so much time is spent kind of in working in bits of science with bits of character with bits of narrative, so it's nicely spread out over the novel, but they really take out a lot of the science here, and they need to do that kind of lore dump. I agree with Gord. I don't think it's necessary because it doesn't really play into how things unfold later on. John Hammond doesn't really learn any sort of lesson from it either, so it just kind of feels like Gord said, it's just there to confirm a point that Malcolm made earlier and nothing more.
Yeah. And like, even if you can justify like the speed of the adaptation, it's like, wow, they just happened to stumble upon a mini egg nest, which is unprotected, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the assumption, again, this has been 5 years,
they've hatched,
right?
never
So
mind.
it's like,
they've hatched, but you know.
Right. But it's just the entire thing doesn't make sense. And there was an interesting element that they introduced in the novel in terms of tracking all of the animals that made this even more interesting, that they completely leave out because it would convolute the narrative. Sorry, read this super chat.
No, you're okay. Yeah, Angry Canadian for 500 yen. Just hold this scene for a hot minute, brother. Yeah. Angry Canadian, I have to play this because it's been a while.
I think that laugh and Ned Steele just put those together for dinosaur noises.
Good boy. Yeah, the tattoos.
That can be like the T-Rex's roar at the end.
Yeah. Oh shit! Oh god! Yeah,
it's like the movie Annihilation. Whenever they kill somebody, they start talking like them. It's like the bear does in that movie. The Dilophosaurus starts making the Wayne Knight squeal.
Oh god, that's so good.
I'm actually not down. I actually think that's one of the few like legitimately great parts of Annihilation. I think that's actually pretty cool. Just the movie.
Oh, it's terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. So great idea, not a great
movie's
writing.
Yeah. This is where they figure out to shut the system down completely to override, basically just reboot everything.
Is that? This is where the whole lysine discussion.
Yeah. This is it right here. Yep. He says it very fast.
We insert a gene that creates a faulty enzyme and protein metabolism. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Blah, 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 science.
Yeah. Yeah. The lysine thing. Yeah.
Shut up, you black man.
Being a little uppity there, aren't you?
Yeah. Know your place. I brought you to this island.
No, we already passed the Jurassic Shark scene.
Oh, that's right. If it wasn't for me, you'd be washing windows in New York City in the streets. Wow. That's racist. What the fuck, man?
I do love that he left Jurassic Park and joined John Travolta and became a hitman.
Hitman. Yeah. Oh god. Look,
he's so skinny and nerdy in this movie. It's weird to see like this was him a year before he did Pulp Fiction and became like most people's pick for like the coolest actor in Hollywood.
Yeah. No, not here. No. So so the computers come back on. So the reboot kind of worked, but they have to basically turn some switches, and of course the things across the fucking the park. Of course, you know how that's all going to turn out. But
womp
womp. What's going to happen now? Oh look,
this is actually part of what I meant by like the movie's pacing. Is I used to associate like the Brachiosaurus scene is kind of almost like in my mind. I always thought, oh, this is the end of like the first act or something. It's like, no, there's like 40 minutes left, and then you get to hear it's like 30 minutes left. It's like, wow, there is so much packed into these last 30 minutes, and it's really good.
Look at Grant here. He's like, oh shit. It's just like, whoops. Yeah, but he's trying to show
bunch of Wayne Knight squeals as they pass.
Yes.
Look, they flock like birds, just like
the Gallimimus.
It's a good scene here with the T-Rex coming and getting his prey.
Yeah. They even I like. There's a little bit of. He's like, oh, look at they're changing directions, just like a flock of birds evading a predator. Now the funny thing is, like, well, they're not actually evading one here. They're actually ended up riding right into it,
right into the damn thing.
It's like it might have just gone around and.
Where is he? Where is he? Grabbing Goldblum here. Look at his face.
You know where. So I felt like this is I felt like this was a bit of an editing issue because when Samuel L. Jackson, he leaves to go get the breaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not made abundantly clear or obvious that he's left to go to the breaker.
Or how
They
long?
show
I found
him.
there was
You can see him leave. It's just he basically says 3 minutes. I can have power back on the entire park, and then the shot pulls back, and you watch him walk away. It's just because other people are talking, you kind of miss that he's done it. Because I used to be kind of confused by that as well, but then after a little while, I was like, "Oh, okay, you can see him leave and everything." And so then they just kind of fast forward a few minutes.
This is where we get the famous. So, like Laura Dern's character's like, "I'll go find these people. There's something's wrong. I'll go find that." And of course, we get the sexist fucking comment here. Well, maybe I should go because I'm and you're
and survival system. I'm like, okay, calm down, bad actors. But
only thing I remember from the book was at some point, Mudvayne hollers at her and goes, "Girl," and she goes, "I don't call me a girl." And that's
shut up!
She did
shut up, woman.
Hold on. Good. A quick question, because like this isn't. I feel like there's a bit of an error too in kind of showing this, but where the fuck was Muldoon for most of this movie?
He was there with them. Yeah, he's been there.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
he hasn't been very in focus because like ever since him and Ellie came back, I mean, he's been just kind of quiet. But he has the line in the previous scene about the lysine contingency and everything. So.
Yeah. No, I know that he's in the computer room, but he just kind of disappears until literally this moment, and it's a shame because like this.
Well, the lysine scene's literally the scene before this. I mean,
no, I mean like before that though, like between him in the opening to that lysine scene, he's just kind of gone from the movie.
Well, I mean, he's there when they're when they're monitoring their trip. He's the one who says, "Hey, you all be quiet. They're approaching the Tyrannosaur paddock." I mean, he has lines. It's just he doesn't say a lot. It's just he kind of just pipes up in certain moments. But I mean, he's present. It's just he has very minimal dialogue.
I just wish he had more of a presence. He's a good character. He's the kind of he is kind of the character that you wish you got a lot more of because he does come off as very cool, very collected. He's very realistic about the situation they're in both before and after. It's like he's the one person who recognizes the danger, but he's just like, hey, I'm here to try to make sure everybody's safe.
I am,
and
he's also like the it's like kind of when you have like a bunch of like fantasy nerds at like a fucking convention, and then in comes a guy who is actually in the Marines and knows what battle is really like. It's kind of like that. Like everyone on this island is just a fucking nerd that likes RPGs, but here's a guy that's actually been through the mud, and you just think like that is a thing that you can utilize a little bit more. Maybe it's because they kind of dull a lot of the horror, so like a character like this doesn't work when you subdue a lot of those more terrifying elements. It's just the actor they chose for Muldoon is just so fucking perfect. Like
we lost him way too early. He died he died like 6 years after this movie. He was like in his 50s.
Yeah,
he died way too early.
Yeah, like this.
I don't even know what else he's been in, but he's
I'm sure
English.
He's been,
he's about 6'1". He's just the dude's. He's kind of a man's man in this one. You're just like, I really like this guy, and then you just lost him right after. This is kind of the only role that he was in where most people would know him.
Yeah, I like this part where he's telling her like, you're gonna have to run because we're being hunted. Like just and
that's what's crazy is like they caused because if you remember earlier when Nedry shuts everything down, the raptor fences are still going. So it's the shutdown that he had Sam Jackson do that actually made these fences go down. So the raptors have just gotten out. So that kind of tells you why their proximity is so close and why the minute they've gotten out there, they're like, we're being hunted. And this,
I like how she runs into a tree. She turns around and just runs into the tree. I'm like, you fucking dumbass.
It's like, even though she's a bit of a feminist, and I'm like, they still show she's not especially capable on a physical level. She doesn't have good spatial awareness. She has to get directions.
I like how Hammond, he doesn't know how to fucking read a map. He's got her walking around everywhere down there.
I just said how to read a schematic.
We're gonna have to climb over it.
I don't know why they didn't just. I mean, I guess there's wires, I guess, lining the insides of it, but I still feel like Tim could have squeezed.
He could have squeezed.
He could have slipped through one of those. I mean, I mean, Lex honestly probably could have too. But
Malcolm would have to go over. Yeah, I understand that. This part was funny.
It's great.
Actually, no. Grant could have slipped through that too. Look at how big some of those holes are in the wire.
Yeah, probably. It would have hurt,
Probably.
but yeah, he would have made it through. Tim for sure. Timmy.
I mean, like Grant
right
probably would have had some difficulty, so I can understand him climbing, but the kids definitely didn't.
Easily.
They didn't need to climb. They didn't need to climb.
Yeah.
Drama.
Yeah. I mean, I get why if you're in that situation, you might not think about it at first, but I feel like if you're Tim and you've got any awareness of your size, you're like, I'll just crawl through this. Y'all can climb.
No.
Y'all can play.
And he didn't want to climb over, remember? He's like, I can't do this.
Yep.
Climbing's gay.
So am I. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So she's basically switching everything on here. And then they hear the warning. I'm like, oh god, this is not good. Poor Timmy. And she's got to turn on each part of the park one by one. And I like how he's like, just jump. And he's like, what? But not wrong.
Grant's lucky he didn't go up there. He's like, I gotta go get Tim. It's like, that would have been bad because you both would have been dead then.
Oh god.
Like,
Yeah, shouldn't Tim have died from this? Because it's like 10,000 volts or something like that.
I mean, your chances of survive. People can survive lightning bolts, which are far, far more powerful. So it's not implausible that he could live. It's just, he had a good shot at dying.
Yeah. Went to little Timmy heaven. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a bit weird for me because, like, was it Samuel L. Jackson? He died in here, right? One of the raptors somehow got in here, which kind of doesn't make sense because the door was closed and everything. And
well, they could.
I don't know. I thought this was a little bit ridiculous. That's all. But like, it's just an arm that falls off, and there's no blood or anything. Right, like logistically, there should be like a whole pool of blood.
I guess. Well, it would probably be on the other side because it falls through this little part of the wall. So I guess you'd argue that it's dripped on the other side, and we don't know exactly how long it's been. But obviously, like
it hasn't been that long. It's been a couple of hours at most.
Well, no, it hasn't even been hours. It's been minutes. Because he said, if you remember before he leaves, he says 3 minutes and I can have power back on. So this is probably at most like 20 minutes later. It's more, this is likely to maintain the PG-13 rating. Because if that thing's dripping with blood, then it's like, that's a nasty visual right there.
Yeah, but just the blood aside, though, the whole setup for how that raptor even got in there doesn't really make sense. That's I think my biggest gripe with it.
I mean, we know that they basically do learn to open doors, and so I'm like, you could argue it followed him in, because we know the one that she shuts the door on gets out later. So you could argue that that's how it happened, but I think it's the argument against it would just be it's like, well, we don't know how much time has passed, so I guess that's how you justify
hold on.
it.
So just because there's 4 raptors altogether, right? So we see.
I think there's only 3.
No, there's 4 raptors. So there's 2 in the jungle, right? One goes after Muldoon. The other one chases Ellie, right? Then you have a third one that was inside that building, and then you have.
I don't think one chased. I don't think one of them chased Ellie. I think she ran. But they don't show what chased
there's
her.
2, right? And there's a 4th one that is off in the jungle a little bit more because when the final scene happens, right by the end, when the T-Rex comes in, there's 3 raptors it fights, and there's 1 still locked in a freezer. It's a 4.
Yeah, you may be right. Yeah, you may be right then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they figured out how to get out of the freezer.
Right. It's just the setup with don't get me wrong, I like what they end up doing with the raptors. It makes for like really good tension, and you get to see a different dinosaur kind of take the lead instead of the T-Rex. But it's just like it starts to get a little bit faulty because it tends to, the raptors seem to act inconvenience of certain plot elements rather than being terrifying threats. Go ahead, Greg.
No, you're good. White Bear sent this. This is pretty cool. Hold on.
Oh no.
Hold on, I gotta see that again. That is so good.
Oh,
The meme within the meme within the meme.
Oh, that's gonna.
I did look up like the odds of surviving the shock that Tim gets, and it's not so much the voltage that
the fall. No, not the fall. He gets
that becomes. I mean, it's like voltage is a part of it, but it's mostly how does the electricity travel through the body. So you know, it's not. It's like it's still. He probably still was very close to dying, but it's not. It's not an absolute or anything.
Clever girl.
Great
Goyim.
fucking scene. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You ruined the scene now, Gord.
Get attacked by a rabbi clever goyim.
Well, I am.
Oi! Oi!
Oy vey.
It's not Passover.
Yeah,
Oh
oy
my
vey.
God, oy vey. Poor Timmy. Timmy!
You got for clip.
Oh, good. They made it back to the visitor center. Look at that. And I like how he's like, all right, fuck off. I'm gonna go find somebody now. You guys are good, right? Right?
Big Tim, the human piece of toast.
Toast. I like how they go. Yeah, I like how, like, dude, if I was the girl vegetarian, I was coming off of near-death experiences by done. Fuck the vegetables, man. Just go for them. I know, but
He's
not
a
gonna
vegetarian, but
lie.
yeah, I'm just like,
no, fuck that. I'm going for the
you
sweet.
smell a
Not
little bit
gonna
of
lie.
toasted Timmy. You might start going to meat. Yeah.
What were you saying,
Yeah.
This movie made Jello look way better than it needed to.
Right?
I don't
Jello
know what
is
it
Oh
is,
yeah.
but the Jello
Yeah,
looked
right.
fucking good in this movie.
Dude,
Oh,
here-
yeah.
Here's your scene, Gord. Run!
Right.
It's like, I'm like, why did they make her say that? And
Why
did
is
they
she-
use such a bad take?
She's hopping. For what reason? I
Well,
don't
she's
know.
been hobbling since the raptor attack, but I'm like, we didn't really see her get hurt.
Doesn't-
Right.
That didn't, go back to that.
Oh
That
dang,
just-
he's been tussling with Mr. Blonde.
I know, like
Look at that ear.
Mike Tyson sore over there, like, but
Mike
Hold on.
Tyrannosaur.
but this looks kind of bad here. This looks like somebody's backyard.
Kinda does.
Like they haven't mowed for a few days, and you got Gimpy over here saying, "Run!"
This is just some backyard in Hawaii.
Yeah, this doesn't look good. But
By the
okay.
way, she limps all of this time and seems to have an injury, but this like completely gets forgotten after
Later
they
on.
get back to the computer room. Completely forgotten.
Charlie Horse.
The weird thing is like all you had to do is have the raptor just like scratch her by accident, and that's it. Just give her
Or-
a scratch, man, and it works.
Well, a scratch might not cause a limp, but I mean, it's unless
Like
you
a
scratch,
deep
your
one.
hammy or
You know what I
something, yeah.
mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, you can get Jello. That's this. Like, what makes Jello good is if it's a bit more firm. If it's not just falling apart. If you can get Jello made really well, where it's actually more akin to gelatin, it's quite good. But
Bro,
this-
like
well,
when you
that's like
when
some
you
good
buy-
gelatin.
Right, like when you buy Jello nowadays, it doesn't have this kind of structure anymore,
Heck
man.
no.
No, nothing.
Heck no.
Back then, it was made with collagen.
Right.
Made it with the illegal. Yeah, now it's all.
Yeah, now I expect Bill Cosby to come around the corner.
do,
Ruin it, Bob.
do, do, do. Cosby.
Clever pudding pop.
Cleo. Oh god. Anyway, yeah, this is where they hide. This is again another famous scene. Oh, wait. Is this the clip?
Probably
we gotta play the clip. Hold on, I gotta find this fucking thing. Here, I got it right here. This is yeah. Oh, my boy Zach. Thank you for being a member.
Thank you for
Goddamn.
22 months of your member.
Thank you. And you know what? This is for you, buddy.
But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Yeah.
Smacking that ass. Yeah, this is where we learn they know how to open doors. This
Probably
is-
the second best scene in the movie.
It's really good.
After the
Well-
T-Rex, his reveal. It's probably the next best scene in the movie. This is really, really good.
This is done. This is fucking
The
terrifying.
kitchen scene is the closest I saw to like as far as like how frightening it is just to listen to, like how intense the book gets and how intense the scene was.
Yeah,
they did it so well.
Yeah, it's so.
And they look really good. Yeah. I love the sound design. I love the way that I love the way the creatures kind of growl and chirp. One of my favorite just little touches is just the way they click those large claws on the floor. There's something so menacing about that. It's kind of like when the guy's clanging the bottles in the Warriors. It's just kind of like taunting a little bit. It's like, ugh. That would be the thing that would really get to me if one of these things was in the room.
And if Mel Brooks had done this, it would have turned into a dance scene.
Hello, my baby. Hello.
I can actually imagine that with one of the raptors.
Yep.
Oh god, the way these things just jump, like how agile they are and jumping. Oh my god, it's fucking terrifying. So good. You're right. They look amazing. Like the CGI is pretty well done.
I'm surprised they haven't sent these raptors to space with how much they sell their intelligence in these other movies. This particular shot and this particular growl are really, really good. Just the way it narrows its eyes and just gives that really menacing. I'm like, ooh, that's scary. That's good stuff.
They're smart, but they're not smart enough to know what a reflection is. But they're still pretty intelligent, though.
they weren't around when we built chrome stoves that you can see a lot of.
Timmy slides into home plate in the freezer and locks him in. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a good scene. And then this guy's like, "Wait, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you got locked in the freezer, bro?"
That was my traveling pants raptor friend. I lock her up like that.
Like, really, dude? From a kid?
Yeah, dude.
What? They gotta
play.
Like he's like, unlock the. Oh, imagine turning around and seeing this thing right in front of you. Like, oh my god, it's his worst fear come true.
There is one really okay. So the scene for the most part's fine, but there's one really dumb element to this scene. And it's that Timmy is doing nothing when he should be grabbing the shotgun and giving it to one of them.
Oh yeah, because they're trying to kick.
Because they're trying to reach for the shotgun. It's like, Tim, turn around and give them the effing shotgun, you stupid little faggot.
He's got to support.
I'm sorry, Gord. Gord. He's too busy having his entire character stolen by Stim.
By some woman.
He's having his character appropriated.
Oh, the children all right? I like this in the
like,
background.
Go give them the shotgun. My gosh.
Why is he doing a Brundlefly back there? He looked like he just got interrupted from getting a handy.
So he's shooting at the Raptors. He only had like 3 shots in the shotgun. Don't they hold? They hold like a lot more than 3 shots, unless that's all that was. I don't know. That's gun shit. When I see mistakes with guns in movies, it drives me fucking crazy. Second Amendment, baby. Yeah. So anyway, so he's hearing his grandkids in danger in the background, bullets, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, and here's the raptor. Just I like how he kicks the fucking ladder down, and the raptor's like, "Yeah, okay, bro. Good.
Hey, I was gonna use that.
Yeah, I'll get on this desk here and get you anyway. You fuck." It's like, this is another terrifying scene where oh god, here it's a good shot.
One fun little factoid about this scene, which I learned this years ago. So this is done. So this is her stunt person, and she wasn't supposed to look up at the camera when she was hanging there and everything, but she did by accident. But the take was so good that they actually had to CGI the girl's face over, and that was. I don't know if this was one of the first examples of that, but
of using that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was. But they streamlined it really, really well. Yeah, that was. They had to do that for the scene.
Interesting. Yeah, I like how he's like, "Drop, Timmy." It's only 50 feet down. No big deal. Let go, Timmy.
By the way, I know everybody loves the Jurassic Park theme, but my favorite music of the movie is this scene. I love the music in this scene. It is so pitch perfect.
Yeah, it's good. It's really well.
I love when movies just kind of they get to their conclusion and you don't know like 10 minutes before what exactly it's going to be. It's just you've arrived there and just you've got these raptors on both sides of them, and it's amazing. By the way, he only takes out 2 of them, I think, here. So I think there are just 3 raptors, perhaps.
This is a great scene. Now, the only thing is they probably would have heard T-Rex. If you hear him thumping from fucking...
There's an opening behind there where they're doing construction. That's how he got through, but they probably should have heard him coming.
What were you going to say, Vex?
The setup for this fucking T-Rex saving everyone, it looks cool, don't get me wrong.
It's a cop-out.
But it's an easy cop-out because this dinosaur was trying to kill all these people beforehand. You're right about the footsteps too, because that was a big deal earlier in like next to the paddock, right? And even when it came back to try and finish off Malcolm.
Yep.
The fact that it just
very
ignores,
much a rule of cool. It's a rule of cool.
Right.
Scene. That's what it.
And then
it's very convenient.
After it takes out the raptors, it just completely forgets that there are 5, 6, 7 other people that it could go after.
Right.
Completely ignores that altogether. Like this is.
I don't necessarily mind that because if it's hunting and it's going to eat them, I don't necessarily mind that. It's because it's like, okay, I've just killed 2 raptors. I got my food. Plus they drive away, so it's like I don't necessarily mind that he doesn't go after any more of them. But it's more just the timing by which he arrives is utterly convenient. It's not the original ending they had planned, as far as I know, because like they kind of just realized not last minute, but kind of late in the writing process, we kind of need a last appearance of the T-Rex because his last scene being with the Gallimimus is not really all that satisfying. We need one more scene with him, and they kind of turn him into the Deus Rex Machina.
Right now, Linkin Park would be blasting so loud.
He can add like Wayne Knight's squeal to him here.
I tried so hard.
Just Gord on the car part. It's the reason I point that out as just as a nitpick, we'll say, because this movie is otherwise fine. Despite having fed and going off to hunt or whatever, the T-Rex still comes back to the paddock area to not only finish off Malcolm, but chase all of them as they get away. Right? It doesn't forget about them, but all of a sudden, it conveniently does here. Yes, Kylo, I know. You're my T-Rex.
Don't forget about me, neither.
Bitch!
Right.
Pet me, woman.
Don't you.
Forget about... Oh, look, now she's all fucking getting wet because he likes children now.
I don't get why these two broke up if they were together.
Oh, that's one of the worst things they did with Jurassic Park 3.
Yep.
Is they just all of a sudden like, oh, they're not together anymore and she married to us, and they were like, oh, why? And I guess it's because I think they couldn't sign Laura Dern to come back to the movie do like a whole film. So they were just like, well, he's not going to go without her, so I guess they're divorced. And I'm like, that's
Jurassic Park.
Maybe write a different way for this to happen. It's really dumb.
Oh, well, that's Jurassic Park, people. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
good
it
stuff. Is. Yeah, it is. Good movie. Obviously, we'll get our scores and final thoughts later. But I think, Gordster, you have some trivia for us.
I do. So, Jurassic Park released on June 11th, 1993. Production budget was $63 million.
Wow.
And it opened domestically to over $47 million.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty good even today.
That's pretty good.
In the time since its release, it has grossed better than $1.1 billion worldwide. And while not the first movie to reach the $1 billion milestone, it is the oldest film on that list. $914 million was grossed in the original theatrical run, which made it the highest grossing movie of all time, surpassing Spielberg's own E.T. and remaining at the top until 1997's Titanic. It officially hit the $1 billion mark during its 20th anniversary re-release in 2013.
Dang.
Yeah, this was a big deal. This movie was pretty...
What?
Sorry.
A negri squeal was more suited for that.
Sorry.
I don't mind the random.
Giving them. Okay.
Yeah. That threw me off a little bit. Before Michael Crichton. Before Michael Crichton published the novel in 1990, 4 studios put in bids for the film rights. With the backing of Universal Pictures, Spielberg acquired the rights for $1.5 million. Crichton was hired for an additional $500K to help adapt the novel for the big screen, with David Koepp writing the final draft. Spielberg had learned about the novel in May of 1990 while he was discussing a screenplay with Crichton, which would become the TV series ER.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't have
a lot of
interest for that. So.
Do you have the other studios that were in the bidding and the directors that they wanted attached?
I do. That's a couple away, but yeah.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and read that one. The major studios who bid for the film all did so with directors in mind. Warner Brothers with Tim Burton, which...
What?
I mean, granted, early 90s Tim Burton was great, but Jurassic Park? Nah.
Not for this. Yeah, not for this.
You see Danny Elfman score.
Johnny Depp everywhere.
I mean, Danny Elfman was phenomenal back then. I do think he could probably come up with an interesting one if you're wanting to do more of a horror-ish take on this.
Yeah.
Burton's sensibilities would be my massive question mark there.
No.
That'd be a weird one. Columbia Pictures, with Richard Donner in mind.
Mm-hmm. I could see that maybe happening.
Potentially, if he more Lethal Weapon 1'd it rather than 2.
Shut up.
And 20th Century Fox. Yeah, 20th Century Fox with Joe Dante. James Cameron then later revealed that he had tried to also purchase the rights, but learned that Spielberg had already done so a few hours earlier. He said his own version would have been far nastier and more akin to the tone of Aliens, though he commended Spielberg's version for its appeal to young people.
Do you have who he wanted to cast? Cameron?
Cameron? I didn't see that, no.
Okay, if Cameron had managed to get his movie, if he got the rights, he wanted to cast Charlton Heston as Hammond, Bill Paxton as Malcolm, and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Grant.
No! Yes! Oh my god! Could you imagine? I don't like kids.
Well, no, he probably would have been more like the book version. But Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
he's nice to hit you with this 6-inch retractable claw. You little girly man.
What do you mean you have a T-Rex?
He wanted to do Aliens, but with dinosaurs. So when you think about it that way, it's like, oh, okay, maybe that could work. But Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't look like a fucking paleontologist. Paleontologists are roiding.
They use frog DNA.
He wouldn't even be a good choice for like Mulder.
Mulder, yeah.
Right.
He wouldn't even fit that role. They're moving in herds.
Clever girl.
Herds.
She's a clever girl.
Yeah.
Clever girl. And he'd wrestle it by hand and beat it. T-Rex doesn't save the day at the end. Arnold just comes in and bites the raptors on the neck.
They're coming up to the
Blow
T-Rex.
off some steam, Brontosaurus.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Get back to the chopper.
Get back to the paddock.
Oh gosh, and that makes Sam Jackson's character like the Dylan of the movie because he lost his arm and he's black.
Right.
Dylan, you son of a
Mr. Arnold, you son.
So that's just Dylan's arm that he ripped off.
What's the matter, Nedry? It's like the computer desk has you pushing too many pencils.
Oh my god! Oh, I can't breathe. That is the greatest thing ever.
Even the word raptor means bird of prey.
Oh god, this is Hunt for Red October all over again.
Sorry, Gordon. Continue with your.
That is the greatest.
Don't be sorry. That's a great little aside.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Please move forward, please.
So filming took place in California and Hawaii from August to November of 1992, with post-production lasting until May of 93, which Spielberg supervised from Poland while he filmed Schindler's List. The movie was backed by an extensive $65 million marketing campaign.
Wow.
It's one of the few movies where we actually know what the marketing cost was, this was actually one of that's kind of crazy though. The marketing was $2 million more than the production budget.
Wow.
That's insane.
But we actually kind of know exactly what they made back too, or at least have a really good idea of just how they massively multiplied their money, and not even just movie-wise. The merch, I know
the
merchandise
product, all
was
the
massive
merch.
for this one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The toys for this were great. They had great toys for Jurassic Park.
all the rocket launching Jeep toys and all that.
Mhm.
The dinosaurs themselves.
Yeah, we had some. My brother had some Jurassic Park toys. They were pretty dope. Toys used to be so cool.
Oh, I got a headache now from the Schwarzenegger thing. Sorry, God.
Jurassic Park won 3 Academy Awards, taking home trophies for Best Sound, Best Visual Effects, and Best Sound Effects. It was shockingly not nominated for Best Original Score. Nominees that year were The Remains of the Day. I have no idea how good the music is for that. The Fugitive, which I can understand that. The Fugitive music is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The Firm, which I've seen, but I don't recall the music.
No.
The Age of Innocence, and the winner that year was Schindler's List, which does have great music, but I kind of think this one's is better. I
Yeah,
actually think
more
The Fugitive,
iconic too.
Yeah.
I actually think like The Fugitive to me, that or this would be the better choice. I think the music in The Fugitive is like
Either
10 out
one,
of 10.
I wouldn't have been
Perfect.
upset if either. Yeah.
So, da 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 da. One over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a
Wow.
Pikachu.
Wow.
Spielberg stated that he set out to basically make Jaws on land and wished to set a new special effects benchmark, much like King Kong did back in 1933. Other films he stated as inspirations were the 1962 movie Hatari, as well as Godzilla, King of the Monsters from 1956,
Nice.
which I would say he accomplished. This definitely did set a new standard for special effects big time. Because much of the budget was going toward the dinosaur effects, Spielberg sought to cast relative unknowns, saying he wanted good, solid actors who wouldn't charge outrageous prices. So here we get to the casting trivia.
Oh God.
So Kurt Russell was considered for the role of Alan Grant.
I could see that.
Yeah, me
I
too.
could definitely see that. Give him a better like I could buy the romance angle more between
With
him and maybe a better woman than
Laura Dern.
You wouldn't have
Laura
to fake his
Dern, but-
accent.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
I could buy Kurt Russell. Kurt
Kurt
Russell could
Russell.
even play Malcolm if you wanted him to.
Yeah, he's that good of an actor. I think he could pull it off.
I don't think we need to touch Brundlefly.
It could be Muldoon.
We don't, but Richard Dreyfuss was also considered.
For Hammond?
Alan Grant. This is all Alan Grant so far.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, if they had aged up Alan Grant and kept him more accurate to the novel, I could see
Mhm.
Richard Dreyfuss.
He's a good actor,
How old
too.
was Richard Dreyfuss in 93? I'd be curious about that.
Isn't he like in
He's-
his 80s now?
He was born in 47, so him and Sam Neill actually are pretty close
Close in
in age. Yeah, they were born the same year.
Oh,
so
shit,
That
okay.
could have worked.
Well, they couldn't have went with the romance part. Yeah. Then.
Yeah, I think if you
Yeah.
cast him, you have to completely ditch the romance because he doesn't look like a guy who's going to score a woman 20, in her 20s. You don't look like that.
No.
But yeah, they were deemed too expensive. Others, they did offer the role of Alan Grant to 3 others who turned it down.
Mhm.
Okay.
One was William Hurt.
Oh.
I kind of
Okay.
can see
Yeah,
that.
he's a
I can
good
see
actor.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn good actor, yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Nah, fuck that guy.
Fucking sick of seeing him.
You know
Nah.
what? Harrison Ford at that time would work better as a Muldoon than a Grant.
And I'm glad he turned this down because he did The Fugitive that year, and that's
Yeah.
Great
one of
movie.
his better
Oh,
performances.
Yeah.
Great movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very happy he did that
Mhm,
instead.
mhm.
But I
And
didn't
then
need
the
him to
other-
be the main character of anything else for a while.
That's a good point.
And the other was Tim Robbins.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I think Tim. I mean, I like Tim Robbins in some movies. He's obviously amazing in Shawshank, but
Yeah.
it's like I feel like you need something a bit more masculine than
Yeah, I
what
agree.
he kind of
Less
appears to be.
autistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do frame.
As for Dr. Ellie Sattler, Vex is
Oh.
gonna love one of the auditions for
Oh,
this.
God.
Oh, I
So-
actually know the auditions for this one. So
All right,
go
gotcha.
ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, so the two who were offered the part but turned it down were Robin Wright.
Ugh.
I actually think Robin Wright.
Wait,
would've
wait.
been
A
pretty-
young Robert. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I-
young Robin Wright would have been pretty dang good for this. She'd been probably better than Laura Dern, but
Agreed.
Yeah.
hang on, I want to make sure. But my favorite choice, who also turned it down, was Juliette Binoche. I think she would have been great.
Who the hell's
I-
why do I know that? I
She's in movies like Chocolat and stuff like. She's a really good actress. I could buy because you all you really need Ellie to be is feminine, smart, and I'm like she can do that.
Yeah, I can see that.
She can do that,
Yeah,
and she's really pretty. She's much prettier than Laura Dern. So
God, yeah.
Oh yes.
She doesn't look like she eats leaves off a fucking tree.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
And time traveling Zendaya.
Oh God.
But other actresses who auditioned, Stacey Haddock, who I recognize the name, but I'm trying to. Who is she?
Let me see.
That would have went good with Paddock.
I recognize her
Back in the
face.
paddock.
Back to the paddock. I don't.
Quiet, all of you. We're approaching the paddock.
I don't know why it's not bringing up her.
I mean, I can see it for the looks. I have no idea how good an actress she
Yeah,
is.
I don't know.
She was pretty back then.
Stacey
Haddock.
Haddock.
A real actor that we needed.
Haiduk, by the way. Haiduk.
Haiduk.
Yeah, she's good looking.
Oh, she's good looking, but she doesn't have soft enough features for a character like
Nah.
Ellie Sattler.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'm trying to remember what the heck have I seen her in? I don't know. I don't freaking know. I've seen her before. I just don't know what. In. Other one who auditioned, I could kind of see was Helen Hunt.
Nope, not with that fucking forehead. Don't you fucking dare.
She take out a
Dude, she could've fought
velociraptor.
the dinosaurs, though.
Yeah, you've seen those Pachycephalosaurus. She's just a descendant. Big dome
Getting
heads.
that vegan head.
And Vex's personal favorite, I'm sure, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh God!
Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch.
Her and her fucking vagina candle bullshit. No, we don't need that bullshit in our lives.
That's what she
By a certain
takes over. She takes over Malcolm's part, and she waves a vagina candle back and forth at a T-Rex, and he runs the other way.
No!
Poop finds a way.
Think they'll have that on
You
the
have-
tour?
Do you have some of the other ones that auditioned?
No, I don't have all the rest.
I do
Go
have a
for
couple more that auditioned. Okay, Sandra Bullock.
No.
No.
I can't buy her as a paleobotanist.
No.
She's definitely
Okay.
got the look, and I do think she can act, but paleobotanist, nah. She plays more like the quirky, cute girl.
Yeah, not a scientist. No.
She's not
Okay,
smart.
fair.
I'm unemployed.
She got a role in the second movie, but Julianne Moore.
Nope.
No.
'Cause I didn't like her in
Okay.
she sucks in the Lost World.
She does, yeah.
She's terrible
I
in
do
that
like
movie.
I do like this choice, and actually, I would have preferred her over any of the other ones mentioned. Laura Linney.
Yeah, she would have been good.
Yeah, I could see
Laura
that.
Linney would have been good.
Yeah.
Laura Linney is an underrated actress.
She
Really
is.
underrated.
Very underrated, and she has that cutesy, girlish charm to her as
Mhm.
well. So she would have worked, really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Terry Hatcher auditioned as well.
Maybe I'm biased because I just know how much of a see you next Tuesday she is outside of movies. So I'm like, I'm okay with her not getting it.
And my personal favorite, which I think would have been really nice for the male viewers, Elizabeth Hurley.
Mm. I don't. I mean,
Wouldn't buy
I don't
her.
know if she
Wouldn't buy her
wouldn't
the
fit
role.
Yeah, she wouldn't fit the part at all. But
But
you know,
can you imagine what the wardrobe department could do?
hey,
Hey.
Yeah, they didn't
There you
really
go.
make the characters sound the smartest. Then they didn't really have time to go into it. You might as well just throw some chick in there,
Some
you know,
hot chick, yeah.
Elizabeth can be the paleo thoughtness.
because she was supposed to be wearing
Mm.
short shorts for like half of the movie, but didn't happen.
Sexist. That's sexist, Whitey.
Good.
Good.
That's how it should be.
Mhm.
John Hammond was pretty much always going to be Richard Attenborough. He was pulled out of basically retirement by Steven Spielberg. He said he could only see him in the role, and that was his first acting part in 14 years.
Did pretty good.
Wow.
Ariana Richards said that during casting, she and the other girls, and this is Lex, by the way, she and the other girls were simply asked to scream. Spielberg told her later that she was the one who ended up waking his sleeping wife from the couch, causing her to run through the hallway and see if her kids were okay. Another person who would audition for Lex was Christina Ricci.
Huh.
Interesting.
Young Christina Ricci.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we know she can act, so
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, I'd say she probably could do it, but
yeah.
Joseph Mazzello, who played Tim, he had, like I said, this was one from earlier, screen tested in Hook, deemed too young. Spielberg promised him they'd work together, and that led to him being cast as Tim. Mm-hmm. And Samuel L. Jackson was cast as Ray Arnold after landing an audition following his work in 1991's Jungle Fever.
Jungle Fever. Yeah, no thanks. But I like the casting, but I'm saying fuck Jungle Fever.
Never seen it.
It's a Spike Lee movie. It's fucking over.
That's why I never bothered to watch it.
In the real jungle.
I've seen maybe like 3 of his movies, and I liked one of them.
So I like 2 of his movies.
I like Inside Man. That's a good movie.
Inside Man, and I like 25th Hour. It's about it.
I haven't seen that one yet. I saw.
It's okay.
I saw Da 5 Bloods, which is very message heavy and annoying. It's not a terribly made movie. There is some really good acting in it, but it's
I tried to
they
watch
hit you over the head with it.
Inside Man's okay.
Inside Man's good. I like Inside Man.
Clive Owen's.
I mean, it didn't work out.
I don't know if X would love it because, like, basically the bank robbers are Jewish thieves who are doing it like to right a wrong. It's almost like a form of reparations.
Yeah, yeah, she would love that. Let's see her do a Sunday show on the Inside.
It is a good heist movie, but the motives, I'd be like, I think she'd have a field day with this one.
Oh God, yeah, it would be great.
That wasn't the plot at all. It was gay porn.
Inside Man.
Oh
no. Okay, never mind.
Pride Month. Anyway.
Inside Man. That's all the casting. That's all the trivia.
Oh, nice.
That's all the trivia.
That's all.
I have some casting trivia.
Go for it.
Do it.
All right. There were a few other actors that were considered for Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm.
Brundle.
Oh, I think I actually glossed over one of them. I had one pulled up for that. Was I know the casting director liked him very early on, but she said Jim Carrey gave a great audition for Ian Malcolm.
No shit.
Wow, dude, I did not know that.
That would have been interesting.
I mean, I guess I'm not super surprised because when you get to just a couple years later, when he starts doing like the Truman Show, it's like, holy crap, this guy can really act. Truman Show is a phenomenal performance and a great film.
Then he played the Riddler.
Over the top Jim Carrey. Yeah, Truman Show is a great fucking movie. Yeah,
the only issue I see with Jim Carrey, if we're talking 93, is he probably would have been a little bit too young for a character like that.
I don't
be able to buy him as much.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's almost a similar reason why I guess the kid who played Tim probably wasn't cast for Hook. It's just you're too young. At a disadvantage. I don't think he had cause I feel like Malcolm's role requires a certain presence to it, a certain cool factor, and Carrey just did not have that at this point. He was seen as kind of a goofball. He was just on the cusp of having, 1994 was kind of the year of Jim Carrey, so he was a year away from that.
Just got out of In Living Color.
He was a relative unknown outside of his comedy. So jumping right to Ian Malcolm, it's just like he doesn't have that look at all. He just doesn't have it.
I agree.
So a couple other actors that were considered: Michael Keaton
for Malcolm.
These are all for Malcolm.
Okay. I could see that. I think probably my issue with that is, I don't know what. Maybe I'm wrong about. Hang on, let me look at I don't want to say something stupid here.
You want to get chaotic? Let's get chaotic.
Okay. I was right in the suspicion. I think he's too short. I kind of think Malcolm's height. Now, granted, you don't have to have his guy who's 6'5", 6'6" necessarily, but
I know what you mean.
I think Keaton being only 5'9" takes a lot away from that character potentially. I think him being kind of a big person, kind of a larger than life type figure. He's called a rock star for a reason. It's not just the way he talks. It's it's the way he looks. It's the presence he has. It's like I do think Keaton's acting could be just as good.
Yeah,
I definitely think he can play that kind of role. But
yeah.
Nice fucking model.
This is one that I think would have worked really well. Bruce Campbell.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
That could have worked. Yeah,
I could go for it.
Okay.
He would have found Mr. Arnold with that missing arm, just stuck a chainsaw on it.
Right.
Awesome.
Johnny Depp.
No.
Too young.
Too young.
Too young
Too
at this
young.
point.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Ted Danson. I could see this one as well.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see early 90s.
He was never that handsome. He was not that handsome.
He played that kind
of
part, though. He played that kind of part
right.
a lot, though.
Like, Ian Malcolm wasn't meant to be sexy looking. They made him sexy in the movie-ish.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So.
I mean, well...
Danson spent, 9 years on Cheers playing the womanizer, so, I mean...
Yeah, he probably could have played that role, yeah.
He
Okay.
looked like a makeup-covered meth head, okay? Everybody did.
We have Michael J. Fox.
No. God, no.
Yeah, I agree. And the last one is Steve Guttenberg.
I have shaky feelings.
No.
Wait, you said Steve Guttenberg?
Yeah.
Steve Guttenberg?
Yeah.
Academy and shit. No.
No, I know who he is. It's funny because it's like, oh, him and Ted Danson were in the 3 Men and a Baby movies together, but I'm like, him?
Yep.
No.
Yeah, I don't see it.
No.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, that's some because I still have my notes from my stream on
although
on Sunday.
If we're gonna do the trifecta of 3 Men and a Baby actors, Tom Selleck is Alan Grant.
There you go.
Oh.
Tom Selleck is Alan Grant. I could see that.
I could see it.
I actually like that. I like that a lot more than I should. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm like
the mustache agrees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Tom Selleck. Yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I could actually see that. Yeah. Oh God.
You think Ian Malcolm's going to be flirting with Tom Selleck's girlfriend?
No.
Hell no.
Not even close. Nope. He won't even try.
What are you staring at? Yeah. No. I like it.
He'd just do that water drip experiment on himself.
The water's scared in my hand.
In the book, Grant wears shorts and cowboy boots.
Oh my God.
Wait, no, he doesn't. Never mind.
Definitely
that's a
Ted
big
Danson.
fantasy. Sorry.
By the way, I think we glossed over this, but a little bit of stuff that changes in the ending. So it is a happy ending. But originally, like Hammond, he tries to leave on his own, and he actually slips down a hill in the rain outside of the compound where everyone is, and he ends up getting eaten alive by the compies.
Nice.
He peacefully passes away too. He gets bit and he's like, oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
He gets high and then he dies.
Yeah. So that ends up happening. Muldoon still lives, like he makes it off the island. Gennaro still lives, he makes it off the island.
Mm-hmm.
But their characters have different functions in the novel compared to the film, so that's why they live.
Right.
Very much.
Because like Muldoon has a lot more involvement in everyone's survival, and he's more on the ground helping them after the storm and because there's 2 T-Rexes, right? In the novel.
Yeah.
There's a baby and then there's the adult one. And so there's a little bit of turf war that happens a little bit. I'm trying to think who else.
Well,
yeah,
Gennaro,
Hammond. Go ahead.
Well, just a quick thing, like Gennaro was also, supposed to be there to show like Gennaro didn't really appreciate life. He said, he like clearly says, I've never appreciated anything like they appreciate these gay ass dinosaurs,
Mhm.
and then Grant tells them off. Everybody gets to basically tell off, Gennaro at some point in the book, basically like, dude, you're a douche who was funding a douche. Like, what the hell? And we really missed that in the movie, right. I feel like, but
I did order the novel while we were doing this because I'm like, I don't own the novel. It's like I said, it's been so long since I've read it. And most of my associations with this story are the movie, so I'm looking forward to reading it again.
If anybody looks up the audio, sorry, go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
Okay, if anybody looks up the audiobook, get the one narrated by Scott Brick. I think you can actually find it for free on YouTube right now, but if you can support it, it's it's a really good, well-read audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh yeah, a couple other things. Ian Malcolm was originally supposed to die. It's actually heavily implied that he died, and then they brought him back for the second novel. So there's that difference.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the story as well. So there was this whole plot at the beginning of the novel where the compies were in Costa Rica and they were trying to figure out how they managed to get there because they had supposedly done such a good job containing everything, and they were very particular about security and whatnot. So the Cuban government, to an extent, is involved because these compies are just coming in and they're wrecking the wildlife. They're attacking people and all this. It's a whole mystery to the scientific community because they don't believe that dinosaurs are even alive still, that they're managing to find the specimens they do. So the end of the book, the Costa Rican Air Force actually bombs Isla Nublar to try and eradicate the dinosaurs altogether and keep them from spreading. But one of the unresolved mysteries, which is intended to stay unresolved, is that the compies still managed to make it alive, meaning that despite all of the events of the novel, despite all of the fail-safes they put in place, life will find a way.
By the way, do you know how freaking huge Michael Crichton was?
Right?
6'9". That dude was a jeez.
Damn.
I looked at this picture and showed him standing beside Spielberg and Kathleen Kennedy, and I'm like, he is just towering over them, and I'm like, holy crap!
No wonder he died early. Fucking tallest bastard. But we did miss the entire river scene, and
yep, that was really cool.
Them planning out how they have to help destroy and make sure everything is destroyed. Why the finding the egg mattered. You brought that up earlier, but all the eggs were engineered originally in Tennessee, and then for them to find an eggshell 20 chapters later, that's supposed to be a big deal, but like Gord said, it happens so quick between each other. You can't really tell that you're supposed to feel something about that, but
right.
There's also the pterodactyls, which you had mentioned earlier, probably because they couldn't get the money to make the effects for those. It comes into the Jurassic Park 3, at least they introduce that. They even play around with the river scene a little bit in that movie too, but they use the Spinosaurus instead.
Interesting.
But yeah, there's that instance that's completely forgotten. Trying to think what else there was. The compies were such a big fucking deal because they were just the life finds a way thing, right? They were always there. They were always undermined because of their size, but they were the thing that managed to thrive and survive the most out of all the species.
Yep.
The amount of body parts that Mudvayne and Gennaro find.
Yeah.
Honestly, the compies are one of the few things I think the Lost World does relatively well. Because obviously the Lost World is loaded with problems, but they actually do manage to make the compies a genuine creepy threat. First, with the scene with the little girl, and then later with Peter Stormare's character, who they basically just they attack him and devour him when he just goes off to take a leak. And I'm like, that's one of the few things that movie does pretty okay.
I forgot the biggest thing. So when they're out and about, I can't remember if it was before or after the power goes down, they actually notice that on one of the ships that leaves the island during the storm, because that thing is all the same, more or less, right? There's a raptor that ends up on that ship. Yeah. So the whole reason that Grant and the kids try to rush back to the main compound is so that they can get on the radio and warn that ship not to dock at all.
Right.
Interesting.
So that was it.
The power.
Right. So the Raptors get out, and we see them out a lot sooner than the movie teases. Yeah.
Interesting.
See the
what they do in the Lost World on that boat is one of the stupidest things in the entire franchise. You have this boat which barely holds in this giant T-Rex, which is tranquilized and strapped down. But when they get on the boat, all these people in various spots on the boat are ripped to shreds. And I'm like, how did it do that? How could it possibly have done that? That does not make one single lick of sense. It is so stupid. Yeah, that is. That movie's awful.
Yeah.
It's entertaining in spots, but it's really stupid.
Yep. It's unfortunate. This franchise just sucks after this.
Maybe Afterbirth will be Jurassic World movie get paid.
I guess if you want to we can go around and give our final thoughts and a rating. I guess if you want to give a rating, I don't know. If you want to comparing it to the book, like a book rating and then a movie rating, I don't know. For the people who have actually read it, Gord King, I'm going to start there, buddy.
I mean, I don't think I could effectively rate the book just because it's been so long since I read it. I do remember enjoying it. There are scenes from it that I remember really liking. I don't ever think that, I mean, I've always kind of been able to separate books and movies from one another. I guess the only time I really ever consider the book versus the movie is when I see an issue with the film and I think, you could have done this thing for the book and that would have automatically made it better. That's generally the only connection I try to make. I try to look at adaptations simply as
all the pretty horses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one where they just mess everything up.
I know. Sorry, which one did they mess up?
All the Pretty Horses is probably my least favorite adaptation of any book ever.
Interesting. Okay.
It's awful. And it's a great book. I highly recommend the book, but the movie is it's an insult to that book. But anyway, as for the movie, it is one of the seminal cinematic experiences of my life. I have loved it since I was a kid. It is fun to go back and look at it more objectively, and when you do so, it is impossible not to notice that there are issues with the movie. I don't think there's anything in this movie that really hurts it all that much. There's a couple of issues with acting here and there. There's a few logistical errors, and there's a couple of conveniences. But overall, I think that it's not quite a masterpiece, but it is still a very high tier film. So I would go. I'll rate it 9 water droplets on the hand in different directions out of 10.
Fair. All right, Vex. But you.
I think we had this discussion about 2 months ago. My position has changed a little bit, but I find it very hard to look at this movie the same way after reading the book. As a film on its own, regardless of the source material, I think it's a solid movie. We touched on the very minor things like the T-Rex paddock and how he becomes a savior at the end of the movie, which seems a little bit, silly. But I think there's still a lot to be appreciated. The acting is absolutely top-notch. Love all of the animatronic stuff. There's some interesting ethical ideas or existential ideas teased that I kind of wish it followed through more, but that I think is more of a critique of Spielberg's ability to storytell and then where the script kind of ended up. I imagine that Crichton, he adapted enough, but given that Spielberg was able to essentially con him into writing a second novel, I'm curious how much input Spielberg had on that script and forming Crichton's version of the script personally. Lot of rewatchability, a lot of moments that stick with you too. Iconic moments, iconic sounds like Nedry's squeal and whatnot. Just characters I wished I had more time, right? Like I wish we had more time with Muldoon because he was a very interesting character and the performance was so strong. I think we could have had less time with fucking Ellie, especially when she goes all retard mode in the last act of the film. Maybe a little bit more time to breathe on things like the raptor eggs instead of, because that felt very much like just a like almost a necessary exposition dump just so they don't completely abandon some of the ideas Malcolm introduces. I think Ian Malcolm is a phenomenal character. It's a shame what they do to him in the Lost World movie. I don't know about the book, but as a movie on its own, I would rate it, I would say 9 dinosaur dung piles out of 10.
I thought you were going to go like 9. Yeah, I thought you would go like 9 Muldoon messiahs. I don't
no, I couldn't go that far yet. The book, on the other hand, book is a fucking 10 out of 10. Some of the most harrowing, like really visceral kind of character and story moments. I love how it blends real science with all of the with the action and the adventure and stuff like that. I very much like some of the character interactions more in that, and they're, hi Kylo, look at how cute you are. Oh my goodness. Sorry, he jumped up and now he's all snuggy. He's all snuggied up. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, this cat is just so, oh my, hold on, I'll take, oh, you're dueling as well. Oh my goodness. It's, if I had to compare if we're looking at the movie as an adaptation, it's like a 4 out of 10 for me. I'm really sorry. The book,
I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay, as an adaptation, right? Strictly as an adaptation, I think the movie is a 4 out of 10. It's a shame what they do with a lot of the characters, the romance, cutting out all the cool dinosaur moments, all the scary dinosaur moments, making Hammond into some like idealistic good guy who's a little naive instead of this cool evil representation of like the worst of wealth and development. Yeah, I very much want to see like an 8 to 10 episode limited series on just the first book. I really want to see what it would be like to look at things like, you know, Hammond getting eaten alive or babies getting their faces fucking ripped off in a show. Like that would be
about the adaptation aspect, because you know, I mean, I've brought up several times Blade Runner is like one of my top 3 favorite movies. It is not a great it's not great in the adaptive sense, because you read the book, it is in almost entirely different from the film. I mean, now granted, Philip K. Dick loved the vision that Ridley Scott had, and when he saw like, you know, some of the like the storyboard stuff and photos of like what the sets looked like, he was like, this is exactly what I imagined. So he loved the visual aspect, but obviously he died before the movie came out. But yeah, as an adaptation, that's a bad example as far as being faithful. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, book's a 10 out of 10 though. One of the best novels I've ever read. I highly recommend it to people that have not read it yet.
Yep.
Or that can't read.
That's an audio.
Or that can't read. Yeah.
White Bear. Go ahead, buddy.
Speaking of movies that did it better than the book, like Hades Dune.
Oh my gosh. Movie's awful. I saw somebody review that movie and they said, you know, I didn't used to understand this movie, but after seeing Denis Villeneuve's movies, this one's a lot easier to understand. I like it more. And I'm like, and they rate it like an 85, and I'm like, so you're rating this an 85 because Denis Villeneuve's movies made you understand? It's like, that does not make a lick of sense. You have to watch 2 movies that came out like 40 years later to get this movie. It's awful. David Lynch's Dune is a terrible film.
It's an awful film. Absolutely awful film.
He'll be watching you. Okay, so anyways. So yeah, you know, I'm probably gonna agree a lot here with Bex. Like the way that I explained it was this, basically that there's a lot of distortion that comes from compression, and I felt like there's a lot of distortion here, and a lot of weird extra pixels and things that were taken away from it that really should have been in. But as far as like nostalgia, like my Lethal 2 feeling about it, it's a 9 at least. Looking at it a little bit harder, it's about a 7.5 or 8. I really can appreciate how monumental this movie was, and like I said, it was the end and the beginning of different ages for how movies were done, and that can't be stated enough. It deserves every bit of the money that it made from the merch, the commercials that some of us saw when we were kids, or that you got to see on you pop in a VHS and then a trailer for like 5 other movies would come on.
Yep.
And they would just show a glass of water, thumping and thumping and thumping and vibrating. And that was all you needed. That's all we had back then. And it made millions, and it deserved every bit of that. When it comes to the book, maybe a little bit long-winded on some of the talking about running computer programs. It was kind of crazy. And maybe
good point.
Like maybe one of the characters could have been like a little bit more condensed or something like that, but it just made me appreciate it even more. It's like asking Lord of the Rings to, could you condense that a little bit, It's like, it works better for film, sure, but yeah, it needs to be a mini series if it was done well, and I can really appreciate that. So all in all, I'm giving the whole experience 8 pterodactyl turds.
Nice.
I think they're like the pigeons of the dinosaur world.
Yeah, just bobbing along.
Target the jeeps and
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, y'all bring up great points. I have to reread the novel because I do remember like Gord. I remember liking. I don't remember a lot, so I'm fucking old now. I forget things. I have to go back and reread that, and I will. So I will be purchasing it.
It's a pretty dense novel. Like there's so much going on in there. Yeah, like so I don't even blame you for old age aside not remembering it.
Yeah, I do want to reread it though. I really do. So I'm going to add that to the list of ongoing shit I need to read. But the movie, yeah, like Whitey said too, the nostalgia part of this, seeing with my family, the loving dinosaurs at that age. I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. I wish Schwarzenegger was Grant. Oh god, that needs to happen. It's like perfect. It's perfect. Oh, the loaded weapon. I love that movie.
He does like the midair arm wrestle with the Velociraptor.
Oh my god.
That's the conclusion.
You're not so clever, girl. Yeah. Wow, shit. Okay. Well, there you go. Jurassic Park movies. Yeah, like you guys have said, it's a classic. Again, I get Vex's point too, because I have read books and movie adaptations. Sometimes just don't hold up. I think I mentioned a few in our chat. I know it's like my genre I like, but Goodfellas and Godfather completely a lot of differences from the books to the movies. And I actually like the book version of Goodfellas much better than the movie. Oh. They took a lot out and they changed a lot. They even changed some of the names and locations and so yeah, I get it, but I could appreciate.
That's honestly the only book I can think of off the top of my head where the book was written before the movie and the movie adapted it to near perfection would probably be No Country for Old Men.
Oh,
I mean, there's a couple of things that are in the book that aren't in the movie. But ultimately and I've read that novel like 5 times.
Right.
There's only really one part of that book I kind of wish was in the movie, but it's about as close to a perfect adaptation as ever.
Great movie.
I have to read that book still, then I guess.
Oh man, yeah, and it's in as far as Cormac McCarthy novels go, it's probably the easiest one to read. I mean, it still has his cadence and style where he just does not bother with most punctuation. So and he rarely ever tells you exactly who's speaking. So it can be a challenge to follow at times. But if you're familiar with the movie, it's pretty easy, but
pretty good.
You kind of have to really pay attention.
I will toss out one other that I think is a near perfect adaptation as well. Stardust.
Interesting.
You
there's
that.
There's only one thing in the Stardust novel that they omit from the film, and it makes perfect sense just for fluidity's sake. It makes total sense why they kept it out, but otherwise that movie Stardust is a 1-for-1 adaptation of Neil Gaiman's novel.
Interesting.
Wow. Oh, you can skip Shawshank Redemption.
Well, it's a short story, so
yeah. You can skip that.
The movie's kind of significantly
different. Yeah, big time.
I'll be honest. I think Jaws is better than the book. To be perfectly honest, there's a lot about the Jaws novel I don't like.
No, the movie's much better.
I didn't even know that there was a book for it. No.
Oh yeah, Peter Benchley. He's even in the Peter Benchley's the reporter in the movie talking about the cloud in the shape of a killer shark.
It's coming up this week. I got to rewatch all these freaking movies now for the.
Yeah, I mean,
hold on, Gord. I have a question for you. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
You're good.
Would you? Because I have Blood Meridian. Would you say I should read No Country for Old Men first, or does it matter?
It doesn't necessarily matter, but Blood Meridian is a very complex novel. It's like that. I mean, and it takes its time a bit. Now, granted, Blood Meridian gets wild. I mean, that read is very disturbing. I think No Country and The Road are probably great introductory novels to get used to like Cormac McCarthy style, and it does help that in particular, No Country Has a Movie attached to it that can kind of help you to follow what's going on and get used to his style. But when you get to Blood Meridian, it's you can kind of see why they've never put it on screen, and you almost kind of hope they don't, because there's almost no way they will ever do that book justice.
I kind of want to read that more now.
I mean, if you read Blood Meridian first, by all means, do it. But holy crap, Blood Meridian is one of those things. It's like you almost just don't want them to adapt it, because that's just the villain in Blood Meridian is one of the greatest villains in literature. Period. I mean, he is a genuinely terrifying individual, and just once the depravity gets going in that story, it's like, holy crap, this is messed up.
Dang. All right.
Blood Meridian is a pretty amazing novel.
Sounds like a book about a period.
I've heard good things.
Like when I first heard the premise, it's like, these guys who are, it's like these group of outlaws. It's the scalp trade, and then it's just like, okay, I can see why it'd be violent, but is that going to be really that bad? And then it's also like, the directions it goes when you see all the ins and outs of it, you're like, wow, this really is bad. Messed up. Yeah. And like I said, the main villain in it, you're just like, okay, this is Cormac McCarthy has this thing where his villains tend to be more like representative of an idea, almost more than they are a person. Like Shigor is kind of the humanized version of death. Now he's still human. That's why like he almost dies at the end, but he kind of represents that. The villain in Blood Meridian is much more indicative of a notion than an actual person in a way. It's a wild character. He's a wild character.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I've heard
that was great.
Quite the novel.
Great. It was so good.
So great. So good.
So great.
It's the most amazing.
Bro. I look, when you get a second, guys, look what I put in the Twitter chat. It's pretty fucking funny. Vex will appreciate that. Anyway, yeah.
Get to the text group. There you go.
Yeah, I saw that.
Uh-huh.
Are you dying?
Oh my god. Oh my god. The nigganator, you know?
Oh, on that note, I think it's time. Okay, we're going to end the show. Anyway, that was Jurassic Park. It's great doing a show for all y'all again. That was fun.
For real.
Coming back for a one-off show was fun. I don't know when the next one will be, to be honest. If we have a plan, I'm sure we'll be chatting about it at one time and just go, hey, let's talk about this movie. So just stay tuned.
It'll happen organically.
Whoa.
No.
What?
Wow. That was supposed to be between us, Gord. Yeah, it's been great. Let's go around the horn. Everybody's got something going on. So, Gord, can start with you. And I know you got gaming stuff, and you have a video coming out soon, right?
Yeah, I did release a video this past Friday.
That's true.
I turned my poorly explained of Aladdin. I tweaked it a bit, and it more or less flows like a review with, still some jokes and some kind of joking elements to it. But I actually kind of liked that version of it a little better. So that's out now. You can check that. Also, I am pretty soon going to be dual streaming my game stuff to Rumble and YouTube. So it'd be mighty wide of you to go follow me on Rumble.
I got you, bro. I got you.
But I'm finishing up my Predator Killer of Killers script, and I will be editing that this week. I guess there's a slight chance it could come out this week, but it's a fairly lengthy script. It's probably gonna be
lengthy cock.
In the the cock is pretty lengthy. So it's probably gonna be in the 40 to 50 minute range at least. So it's a bulky one, but it's a bulky
one,
cock.
eh?
It's a fat peacock.
See how you slid that down.
Good news is I have a lot of time to edit this week, so that's why it's like there is a chance it will be out this week, but
cool.
I would say more probably next week.
I gotcha. Looking forward to that. And of course, Vex, I know you got some stuff going on too.
Yeah, I put the Predator cock video on hold for now. So,
Cocks
because I
on
watched
hold.
28 years. Yeah, cocks are on hold because I
No
watched the
cocks.
28 years later movie.
Dude, doesn't that movie piss you off?
It really pisses me
It
off.
made me angry too.
You know, it's after tonight, and I finished the outro. I can finally watch that movie.
Oh, Gordon.
Oh my God, Gord.
Get ready to be infuriated, Gordon.
You know what, Gord? I'd almost recommend like just waiting for an HD copy to come out because the accents get really fucking heavy sometimes. So
I'm not going to a theater to see it.
that's what I mean.
No,
Wait for an HD.
It's not going to be much
Oh,
longer.
okay.
Well, you'll find a better copy.
Yeah.
The movie sucks. So.
But yeah, that movie really pissed me off. I was supposed to record the audio today, but then I got sucked into 2 streams, I guess. So that didn't happen. So it's tomorrow's gonna be a busy day, and then if it's not out tomorrow night, then it will be out Wednesday night.
Nice.
For sure. But yeah, that video is coming.
If you don't edit a part where it says you should have like play a little part of your previous video and then put 28 weeks later because it's been a little while since you did it.
Oh shit! Oh my God! It's actually almost been 7 months on the dot.
Oh, see,
so
that worked out great.
Perfect. Oh my God, that is fucking perfect.
I'm making note of this, Gord. Thank you.
Please. I'm looking forward to that video too because I took my kid to see that movie and I wish I didn't. I mean, we had a great time together.
My kid left me.
Yeah, you're not my dad.
It's like Jill said, I'm going out for some menthol, and she never came
back. What kind of movie choices? All right. Anyway, Whitey, you've been playing your zombie.
Yo,
fuck is the name of this
dude? That freaking intro song to your channel. I could not get that out of my head all freaking week. That is such an earworm.
It does stay in your head.
It really does get in there. Oh,
like, I'm learning the freaking lyrics to that song.
I'm fucking working today in the morning, and I'm like, I got Whitey on, and all I hear is fucking blue ball. I'm like, oh my God.
Like, I was thinking about it, like, just kind of in the not... Yeah, like it's in your head, but you're not thinking. And I realized I'm lip syncing this song in my head. I'm kind of singing along to this. Why do I know the lyrics to this song?
Blue balls. Anyway.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's got to the point where one day I was at work. I'm like, am I gonna have to look at one of my own fucking streams because this isn't a real song? You know, I'm gonna have to look at one of my own streams just to listen to my intro song.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I realized I was accidentally running 2 audio at the same time. So yeah. So we get that fixed, but. Gord has actually been doing all the thumbnails for my IBS Hot Dog Wizard gaming channel, and it's been the most fun I've ever had on YouTube in my life playing those playing the games I've been playing. So and I'm finally have the RAM now to where I can start working, going back to work.
Step it up, buddy.
Editing, I have to editing videos up for that game, and
please
eventually I'll of course get into other ones and all that, but I'm gonna be on this one a long time, and it's a great time. So anyway, IBS Hot Dog Wizard, it's a name that you usually won't forget.
No,
and come by and check it out. I stream Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. I like listening to it. It literally starts when I'm starting work, so it's a perfect way to like me not to want to kill myself.
Kill zombies, not yourself.
Yeah, it's a very great distraction. That was great. It's been a fun show. I have no idea when I'm coming back with our own show again. Just stay tuned for announcements. Like, this was a surprise thing. We got together and we were like, we got to talk about this movie because Vex was just reading the book. A discussion starts and boom, we have a show. There probably will be more pop-ups. I have no idea. Life is just a little fucking crazy right now. That's why we took a hiatus. So just stay tuned.
Have clipped like your head on Hammond. It's like, I don't care for lawyers.
I don't like lawyers. The blood-sucking lawyers. So anyway, love you. It's been a great time doing this again. The core 4, as we call it. We don't need guests, okay? Because we're just all so goddamn good. But it's been great. Everybody,
and so humble.
It's very humble. Very fuck being humble. No, I'm just kidding. It's been great. We'll see you around next time. Stay tuned, and we love you all, and thank you.
Bye. Bye.